We are live. This is the Code Breaker. This is Paradox.
And this is D. All right, so this time hopefully we got it going correctly. Man, here for a late night session. We do not plan to be here too long. We just me and Paradox was just talking, so we just decided to probably just go ahead and make it a program and get one in real quick off the discussion. So do you care to like get started on what you was talking about a little bit earlier?
Yeah, I don't even know where to begin. We were talking so long.
Man,
Oh,
we just
but I was trying to figure out um, your position on dealing with historically uh, how you handle uh, women or how you see other people and what they go through.
yeah, I'm like like I told you, man, a lot of times when I look at relationships like as an ecosystem. You know what I mean? Like there are natural spots where you can kind of fit in and get in where you fit in, and you only know where you stand by trial and error and how your energy basically vibes off a certain feel of person.
Yeah,
Like I say, like by the time you are maybe and this is just how it was for me, by the time you like 30, you kind of got a good feel about what you can catch and what you can't catch. Like, okay, yeah, I know, you know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that you should be restricted by saying, I'm not gonna go ahead and try to, talk to this particular person. You know what I mean? But I think that by your experience up to that particular point, who you jive with and who you don't. That's just been my experience, and I think that everybody has their own journey when it comes down to it. Um, I guess one of our deals, what we were just talking about, is how somebody's journey can be uh, maybe not so good, maybe not so great, and how that can kind of paint their ideology on everybody else, and they make it everybody else's problem, and then those become the loudest people in the room, and they can pretty much dominate the conversation, and then you don't get the nuance that you need, especially when it comes down to interpersonal relationships with women in particular. You know, there's social dynamics that are happening, of course, man, that are like kind of like easier to read, but the relationship thing has always been kind of difficult because it's a personal thing. You know,
yeah. But if you had to point blame, would you blame? Say if you're a 13-year-old kid, a boy, right? And you're dealing with a situation with a female. Would you blame the men in your life if something goes wrong? Or would you blame the female?
would I blame the men in my life?
Uh huh.
I don't even know how that even.
I'll work
I,
it out. I'll
yeah,
play it out for you. Go ahead.
ask it again, because I don't, I don't know if they're, I don't know if I ever thought that kind of way. Like, say it again for me.
But if you're a 13-year-old kid, right, you get your first
Yeah.
girlfriend. So you was able to at least get a girlfriend, right? We can deconstruct that a little bit, but you able to get your first girlfriend, and she broke. We'll say she broke your heart. She
Yeah.
she hooked up with she ended up
Crushed me,
kissing
man.
kissing another boy, and
Woo.
you really liked her,
I really
you know,
liked it.
and she
Oh,
played you. She played you, and
played me
she kissed
hard.
some other boy, and now she hanging out with him, right?
Woo, man.
You got two passive tape. You can hate her and hate females, or you can hate your father and your uncles and your cousins.
It'll probably be hating the woman, man. Initially, it's just gonna probably be what you're not gonna be thinking about, because you know I could just hear my older brother and my cousin and them being like, yo, like, nigga, that's the game, like that's how it's gonna be, shit, can't trust these hoes, So you're gonna hear that kind of like, with our generation the way it was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But nah, real talk, man, probably, and that's what I mean, like you're gonna probably be angry at the opposite sex because you didn't get what you wanted at the time, and then you wondering why did she like him instead of me, because I really liked her, for whatever reason, and she made her decision, it doesn't seem logical because to you, because you liked her, you thinking, okay, I'm the better choice, you know what I mean? Like this is just some real shit, on some personal stuff. So yeah, you're gonna probably be like, yeah, man, all females ain't shit, for a while. Maybe you're gonna go through that. And yeah,
Get them scars early, huh?
until somebody, until Shanique will send you a note saying, oh, I like your Jabot today. Oh, your Georgetown fit. Oh, this is nice. I like how you looking.
And
I
you
think
back in the
cute.
game, baby. You back
You
in the
back
game.
in the game, yeah. Like, oh yeah, this how it's gonna be. And then what's so crazy about that, while Shanique was showing you some love, and then all of a sudden, I'm about to use some real names. I'm trying not to.
I was too. That's funny you said that. I was
Vic,
getting ready to say a name too. It's funny
Vicky over here, she started to look at that. She's like, oh, what? Why she, and trying to be like, I had them first. And then all of a sudden, now you got two of them vying for you. So yeah, that's normally how it works. Then you start to feel like, oh, okay. So now I'm starting to see the energy, you know what I mean? How it works, how it goes back and forth. But obviously everybody don't have that experience, what we talking about.
Do you think your brother have given you any advice after the fact for the first girl?
You said, I think he would have gave me advice,
no,
or did he?
Could he have given you any advice outside of saying that's how it is, bro?
Yeah, I mean,
could he have said, I'm just saying, what would you think if you wanted somebody to say something to you, like a man or an older kid, an older brother, or somebody who's older than you would say to you? What would you think you would want them to say to you?
Man, I don't even know, man. To be honest with you, because it would probably be, the discussion would probably go something like this, like yeah, well, I mean, just for lack of a better word, was a little mama a little short? You was hollering at her, you was talking to,
right?
And then you moping around here. She ain't called the house lately,
right.
That type of deal,
And you take what she tell you. Make sure you don't call her. Well, nowadays like text, right? Make sure you don't talk to her.
don't.
Right. She
don't
played you out.
desperate.
Right. She played you out.
Very early.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, right. And if you're not getting advice, you might blow a phone up 100 times.
Oh man.
You just don't know.
I remember I was giving people my age the same advice that my older cousin and my brother were giving me, because they was telling me what not to do, and then I would tell like some of my homeboys that didn't have older brothers, or maybe they were the oldest sibling, and I'd be like, man, nah, man, don't call her more than twice. Just call her one time, and if she don't answer, then just let it be,
Yeah.
They'd be like, man, you don't think I should call her again? Because that's back when we used to write like numbers on hands, and like, yo, you gonna call Shorty? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm gonna call up, see what's good with her,
Well, but I throw a wrinkle in there. What if it's your friend?
What do you mean?
Your man, and she was liking you and kissing up on you this week in school, and then next week she really was trying to get to your boy.
Man. Yeah, that happened to me, but it happened in reverse, so it's opposite. So I was
you're the savage.
I'm not savage though. That's the point. I'm the guy that want to share with
Savage.
I'm Nate Dogg. It ain't no fun if the homies can't have.
See how your mind works.
I'm serious, man. I'm so serious, man. I always been that way. I do not I do not have to have all the women. I do not want all the women, man. Trust me, I do not want that, brother, at all. Don't
So
have
what?
the time for
So
it.
so you got guys who don't think. You got guys who are a little bit smarter than maybe other guys on the uptake, right?
Yeah,
You might say, okay, cool. She trying to holler at me. She just hollered at my boy last week, right?
yeah, that has happened to me. Yeah,
So
literally.
now I don't want to get super graphic because things can play out a bunch of different ways depending on your experience at 13.
Yeah.
Now what you're telling me though, we're talking about people who are we're getting our foot wet, right? We're just getting in the game a little bit.
Yeah,
You're saying you might tell your friend like, yo, she was trying to holler at me, man. I tell you what, this is what we're
yeah.
gonna do. This is what we're gonna do, right?
I had to learn my
So
lesson on that on how to deliver the news, but I mean, literally,
but
like,
you can play this a couple ways.
yeah, you can play it a couple of ways. Yeah, true.
Now you can smother and say we both gonna go at her. We're gonna bring her over to
I rather, I rather,
Big Mama house and
I
we
would
gonna
rather say it before that come out because I would
no
rather
no no
say
no. I
it.
mean
Yeah,
that y'all gonna collaborate.
yeah. Of course, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
I was just saying that could be one scenario that kind of plays out. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, but what normally happens, depending on what the relationship is, how close you are, you know, somebody would say, "Hey, man, okay, cool. Well, I will, I will basically run through the joint. You know what I'm saying? We'll get up
Yeah,
with her people. You know,
yeah,
we can all hang out. We could do do our
yeah,
thing, whatever.
yeah.
And just hang out and just kick it or whatever. But what happens is that it's not like that for everybody.
Give me a
Everybody
scenario
ain't
though.
operating the same way.
Now, what if he? But now I'm into you with this or this. But what if he really like her? He gonna go
That's what
along
I'm.
with you.
That's what I was about
He
to
gonna go
say.
along
The
with you. But what if he?
scenario,
But what if
he's
he
going
really like
along.
her
He's going along with me just because he just want to see how frustrated.
though?
So I had to learn. I had to learn how to kind of navigate around that, where I would be tough on the women, man, because, like I said, man, some guys, man, like I said, they just, what I mean, they're soft on the women, man. They just be like, I gotta have it. You think that I'm trying to be like, man, I'm trying. Damn, you said I had a God complex. Damn, I ain't the first. That's not the first time I done had women tell me that shit. Like, and I'd be like, how? Like, because it comes so. You think it comes so natural and so easy. I'm like, no, I don't. I ain't shit. Why you want to even holler at me? Why you want to talk to me? You know what I'm saying? That's what
You
literally
got
what
it.
I
You
tell
got
them.
it. You got it, man.
Why do you even want to deal with me? You don't have to be here, shorty. You could go ahead, man. Be at peace, man. For real. Like I'm all about
But
black women. I'm really like I'm a black women's autonomy advocate, dude. I think a
but
black
would
woman should be where she wants to be, bruh. No pressure on her at all.
but, but would you
I don't
would
believe
you
in that shit.
but if you and your friend were on the same page though,
Right.
y'all was both wolves, then you might go in, he may go in after you, and it is what it is, and on to the next. It means it's trying to learn a certain style or a certain behavior, understanding the opposite sex in a particular environment and how it has to be done because it was done that way before.
Right.
But I know I'm assuming you maybe even had to deal with something like that where we know what the game is. We know what the game that she's gonna play. So she
Right.
moves her piece, and then we're gonna have to move our piece as well.
Yeah, I would bring up a scenario, but it's just like that's too close to home. I
Make
mean,
up a
even
scenario.
something like even if
Make up
something like
something.
because like I said, like this is like my like one of my best homies, man. And he didn't tell me the truth about how he felt about said
Which he's
chick.
not. Which he's not because he's 13.
No, but I'm talking about older. I'm talking about older. Like
Yeah,
not
but I was just trying to keep it in the early stage.
yeah, early
You leaping.
stages,
You
man,
leaping ahead.
because earlier is different because it's like we're both learning at the same time at that point.
Right. But
Yeah,
you are. The reason I'm making a point about early is the later stuff is that some of that stuff it is what it is. It's interesting. I'm not saying it's not. But if you're trying to if you're trying to build a boy and in this environment, regardless of the economics,
hmm
if you had to play that scenario out, I was just saying, starting from that beginning point, it sends you on a trajectory at that point, and you start to move a certain way, operate a certain way. You start to see things a certain way. It's my whole point. Almost like when vampires get converted over for the first time, and they dig about the ground, and they can see things they couldn't see before. They're a new person. You know what I'm saying?
Like some guys can't control their thirst, and then other guys can control their thirst.
Facts.
Make you a way more efficient vampire, man.
But I'm gonna tell you something. What you learn though is this, right? When you're 13, 14, you learn it. I don't care what you learn it then, in my opinion. I know guys. I have friends of mine that had a insatiable appetite.
Yeah.
Insatiable appetite.
Yeah.
And it wasn't their fault. It's just nature. And I had female friends that had the same appetite. It's not their fault. It's just their nature.
Yeah.
I don't care about framing. I don't care about framing people around ghettos and suburbs and rich neighborhoods. All that stuff is veneer. When we get right raw down to it, this is how human beings operate.
All right.
So not to crap on nobody or say, well, these people over there is like this and they're highly sexually active and these people aren't. All nonsense. You know, most of the freaks got 7 figures in the bank. But my point is that when you're interacting at that age, you are learning a lot about where people sit. That's all I'm saying. And like you said, you have people at different ages joining the mix. You may be some guys who was mixing early, and then you'll start to see, guys kind of come into that frame. Because, some guys have been dry, they 15, and now they done went crazy. That chemistry changed.
Yeah.
And it's like, why are the girls like me now? What happened? I no girl like me last year. They going crazy. Or you get confidence, or a girl, what do you call it? She saw pity. She gave you some because y'all live on the same street. Y'all live on the same street. She smashed everybody on that street anyway.
Keisha smashed everybody. Keith Sweat Summer, man, make it last forever. That was the soundtrack. She's
17, you 13, and she gotta have you.
Make it last forever, boy.
Right. Mm-hmm. Because, like you said, I know you've maybe seen some of this as well. A lot of older women, even older girls, will give you experience to keep it clean.
That is true. Yeah, no doubt.
Now you can interpret that through psychology and call it whatever you want. That doesn't mean anything. But you know what I'm saying.
But what would you call it though?
I'm not an academic. I don't care. What I'm saying is that she's gonna exist, and if you're in the right space, you're gonna get some. That's all I'm saying. I'm not gonna call a professor none of this stuff. I don't do that. Let's just keep it raw. You know what I'm saying? check this out. I don't even care how she got created. The whole point is that the environment has produced her, and it's your job.
The environment has produced.
It's your. Because like you said, we have the language fast women.
That is real.
And so a lot of the we would label as fast women will open up boys to start to get experience. So when they go out there and do their own hunting, and they start shooting down the antelopes, they'll know what they're doing. They won't miss. Basically, is my whole point. And so you will have her in play. And not even that. I mean, I've had friends, brothers bring girls to them that are, it's not just that. It's different versions of it. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because I know you probably been in those spaces too, where you have older guys. They want you to get wet. So they'll set it up for you. So you have that scenario. So you have multiple scenarios, obviously, for these things. But my whole point is this: the key thing is what, as a boy, is to get laid.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm trying to say. I'm talking about that space. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you're talking about initial, interactions and how to control your emotions when it comes down to that.
Well, but like you said, you're gonna learn because as you get hurt, as you miss someone, as she changes, and as you change on her, you will learn to manage and deal with your emotions. When you're 13, 14, 15, you'll be learning how to.
True.
You'll be learning how to kind of manage who you wouldn't give your heart to some degree. To keep it simple, right? Even if it's a hookup, just who you're going to open up to and try to run because the thing is that the same way you run a game, she run a game.
All the time, man.
Right. So you're not able to be strategic with it. You can get jammed up, or she can get jammed up. I've seen women get attached to men. boys, and I've seen boys get attached to girls. And and when you're young, it's very fun because you get to kind of play with. As you get older, it can get a little serious. Get a little bit too much going on. But when you're young and raw, you can sort of see how,
Yeah, like
oh man, she liked me this week, and now she's talking
I
to such and such.
know
How do I feel about that?
it's
How do I handle that emotion? Do I fight
it.
him? Because I fought dudes for talking to my girl, right?
I know, man. It's weird because it's weird. Like
Because she
when
mine.
I know, I know, like and women they if they can't glamour you like initially with
Uh-huh.
the whole deal, like
Uh-huh.
the way that they like you and they want you to react to them a certain way. I think that they take it a different way, and then they spread the news on how you operate,
Yeah.
and then it becomes a challenge for other women to try to break or put their spell on you. Like I'm gonna break them, girl. I'm gonna get them this
Uh-huh.
way, you
Yeah.
know. And by the time they do get you a certain way, it's like was it worth it? Because all the stuff that they have the mentality that they got to go through to get to that particular point. And then when other guys see, this particular person do this that they want access to, then that can frustrate them, and then that can have you dealing with that kind of deal early in your youth. And that's how it was a little bit for people that I knew. You know what I mean? Like if they was dealing with women and they dealt with women a certain way, then other guys would kind of like be like, well, how did he get access to that level? And why does he get that? And then I don't get that kind of love. And this could
What do
be
you what do
D
you, what do,
boys.
what do
This
you mean?
could be this could
You
be
talking
D
about
boys.
as kid? You talking about as kids, right?
Yeah, this as a youth
Like
still. Yeah,
break that down a little bit. Because you bring that up a lot for some reason.
yeah, like
That sticks out to you for some reason.
yeah, because like if men are doing things to get women's attention,
Mm-hmm.
and it's recognized that this other person doesn't have to do those things to get the same woman's attention, same woman, right?
Okay.
And he gets easy access to that, and she doesn't have these certain kind of, I don't know, whatever she put in front as barriers to entry.
Mm-hmm.
Those barriers to entry are just wiped away. It's like VIP. It's like skipping a line. Like nobody's happy about you skipping a line at the club. You know what I mean? Like, if you go to the club, you got people in a long ass line, and then all of a sudden, this person just goes to the front of the line because whatever they know the security, or they know people at the door. Nobody really likes that shit. You know what I mean? So they'd be like, well, why are you gonna let these people in? That kind of deal. So
Break it down a little bit more for me. So you're saying you're 14 years old girl,
yeah,
and she sees something shiny, and it's potentially the same age, maybe a little bit older, right?
yeah, she likes this boy for whatever reason,
Okay.
and she could be, say, like she's just a semi-attractive girl, not the most attractive girl, but she's attractive
Okay.
enough. Guys are
Okay.
trying to smash. She may even smashed a couple of guys before, but she's
Okay.
fixated on this boy, right?
Okay.
So this boy is still operating with her, but he's operating her on his terms, right?
Yep. Mhm.
And she is trying to fit into whatever he's doing.
Yep. She will contort. Yep.
Right. So she's changing to fit in, to try to get into
Hmm.
his space.
Hmm.
But everybody else, you got to bring us some Candace, annihilators. You
Uh-huh.
got you got to have, like, you paying for lunch, nigga. Like
Okay. So now stay right there.
that
But
type of
that's
shit.
but, but you're saying that in what kind? How are you trying to frame it? It
What I'm
sounds like you're
saying
trying to say
is,
you got these dudes
what
that's
what
doing
I'm,
this for her, but she
what,
she
what
don't
I'm
want
saying
them.
is,
She's doing this. She's
it's
trying to
not
go to the
it's not that it's not just the women that it's affecting, right? It's the
okay.
guys that it's affecting too, in your relationship to say a guy, because that boy is still being raised in that so-called ecosystem, right? Or
Okay.
whatever the kind of understanding is. So those guys, or those boys, are going to have some kind of interaction with the boy still, and
Now,
that's going to affect their relationship some kind of way, and whether it can be
now,
whether it could be adulation, or whether it could be some kind of like a slight,
now,
depending on how the boy carry himself. You know what I mean?
but you're saying that those boys that she don't want, but they're giving her treats. You're saying that their fathers, their uncles, their cousins, and their brothers and their friends are not giving them advice on these are the rules of things that you just don't do. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, everybody pretty much may know each other. I don't know if that's the case. Maybe they still giving them advice, but they just like that girl. They could like
Right,
that girl.
but if my man find out that I'm giving Becky a bunch of now laters and giving her other things and trying to like buy her school lunch or whatever, and she really likes the
Can't
older
believe I
dude.
just said now, ladies. That's
She
crazy.
she she really likes the old, but she really likes the old dude. You're saying that because if my friend finds out, he gonna bust inside the head. So
he
you're
got a
saying that,
he got a
of
bust. He got a
course.
bust too.
What are you doing? She don't want you. What are you doing, dude? He might even say just lay in wait,
Yeah,
sit back. I mean, there's different. It'll be different,
it's different. Yeah, it's
different
different reactions to
conversations.
that.
Because I would tell my man, well, if you really like her, cool. Let's just chill out for a minute.
Right.
Let her do that. I know him. He gonna smother. Don't worry about it. You a habit. Just relax.
Let it run its course. Exactly. Yeah, you're right.
Right. So that's some advice, or one advice, or it would be, look, man, leave that chicken alone. We got all these other girls out here. You don't even worry about them. I like it. It don't matter. Like you're kind of working with one another, or you're working with your brother or your cousin or whoever to work through those scenarios because you really don't understand why your body is telling you, but my insights are telling me that I like her. You know
I
what I
like
mean?
it. Yeah,
And
I like
that
it.
but she's just not gonna like you right now.
Right.
Because like you said, you want to go older. There's a lot of guys that end up with girls from high school because she done hit them up.
This is true.
And she trash now. But she did, I know you used to like me in high school, now they 25. And she goes, I don't want you no more.
I do not want you no more, shorty. But
But I'm just saying, like you will learn because like you said, the biggest thing as a kid that we were learning was you have options. Don't get fixated.
Don't get fixated.
That's one of the keys because unfortunately, I think with men, with boys, and maybe it's the animalistic part of us. You want to, maybe it's even like a having a child by a woman. It's something there where you're trained, you're like almost pre-programmed to be fixated. Not all guys, but some guys you'll get fixated on that one girl in high school, and you'll lose out on a bunch of other girls who might even be prettier than her or nicer than her. You know what I'm saying? You got a chick you got a girl you like. She got you doing her homework.
Yeah.
And it's a chick that look cuter than her
that
want to do your homework for you. You should be going at that joint. So just being strategic. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that we can get so fixated, and just for the audience that's listening, we're talking about this for a particular reason because I think that, man, if you just stay in your lane, what you do, be the best you, 9 times out of 10, man, the universe is going to give you what you want, especially when it comes down to women, man. It's going to give you your fit, man. Not to say that y'all going to work out, not to say it's going to be perfect, not to say that she's going to do everything you want her to do. No, she's still coming up in the same social system. She's still fucked up in the same kind of social system as everybody else, man. I understand that. I'm saying that what you're attracted to, stuff like that, things of that nature, man, it can gravitate to you, man. But when you're pressed or you're doing things, in my estimation, you can kind of miss out on something that's a lot better than what you was chasing. That's just been, that's just been something that I've seen. Like I've seen guys like they'll like a woman, but the woman that they were chasing is not better than the woman that wanted to be with them in all facets, in all facets.
Would you now I know we got you can play out different things, right? Now, would you tell a guy if you tell a kid, right, who really wants a girl, he really wants her. You can also tell him as a lesson, okay, go ahead and do it. Even teach him as a lesson. Yeah, go ahead and buy her lunch for her, do her homework for her. What's another scenario? Ask your mama for some money to get her hair done.
Yeah.
Drive. You just learn. You 16. You just got your license. Yeah, go drive to the store or something. You can work it though. If you really want to put yourself out there, that's also a lesson that can be learned from that as well. Or do you disagree? I don't know.
I have to know the
Would you tell?
personality.
Would you tell a guy?
It
Would you tell
depends on
your
the
friend?
personality.
Would you tell your friend to press
It depends on the personality.
full court press?
Depends on the personality. I wouldn't tell everybody that. No.
But none of this applies to everybody at all. I'm just saying.
Well, that's why I said that. Yeah, I would like to tell everybody that. Yeah, to go for what you
Uh,
want. You
I've
know what
known
I'm
guys to
saying?
chase girls for 10 years.
That's too long, man. Don't you think so?
It's whatever you want. It's a free country. So what now? Would I give that advice? Would I give that as hard advice? No. But sometimes people need to learn a lesson, don't you think?
Man,
I don't know.
10
I could be
years
wrong. Yeah, I
chasing a
know a guy.
woman.
I know a guy right now. No, but not. Now, he a player, not chasing
I
like
know,
that.
I know, I
What
know
I'm
what you
talking about
mean.
is okay.
I
I
know
don't
what
want
you
to say
mean by
too much or use too much language, but
yeah. I
I
know
don't
what
want to
you
give
mean.
away. I don't want to give it too much anyway. Just there ain't nobody paying for this game. But what I'm
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
is that there's ways to do what I'm talking about. If
Right,
you just want to bag her, is what I'm trying to tell you,
right.
because you just
Do you think?
because you're just infatuated.
Do you think he wanted to be with her, or for real, or do you think he just wanted to just he had to just get those cookies for real? He just had to smash it.
Now
You
you
know,
said the key word. It depends
pink
on
cookies in a plastic bag, getting
right.
crushed by a building. You know,
Right.
he was on some LL shit. You know,
It like now you said the key word. It depends on who your friend is. Now I
right.
got friends who are absolute savages, and so at the end of the day, it's about bagging. And she's on the list, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be. And
Okay,
if I gotta catch her at 30, I'm gonna catch her at 30. You got people who hang on sometimes. They
right.
doing everything. They done smashed 200 chicks. They done done whatever.
They've
They
done a
done
lot.
they done five some three
They
some
didn't live life.
porno. I've heard of
They didn't live life.
I
Yeah, I
like
got
hearing like hearing like porn star guys tell stories.
you.
And in one
It's hilarious,
it
right?
was a porn guy that had told a story about him finally catching one. It took he always thought about her, and they
Mhm.
just happened to come across, and he closed the deal.
It's just how
Now
as a matter of fact.
it was a one nighter because he just wanted to finish it, but in his mind, this is who I wanted, and she was with whoever in high school, and it was what it
Right.
was, and I just
Have you
kind of
ever
had it in
noticed?
the back of my mind right there, and
Have you
I he wasn't caught up in like, well, she went with the football
right,
player, she did
right.
she yeah, that,
But
but that shit don't mean nothing. That's nonsense talk.
right. Have you noticed how matter of fact that those guys talk about women? How calm they are.
Oh, it's a whole nother. They on Zen
It's
level.
like
It's a
it's
whole
not
nother thing.
even it's not nothing. Like it's so it's almost so casual that it makes the woman at ease that a friend would just give them pussy. So if a woman is
Yeah,
like their friend, she's just gonna I mean it's just that's how it is. And I think some
yeah.
guys, it's hard for guys to understand that part. Like it's like,
Well, the key is
you
appetite
know,
as well. People have different appetites, and so you can't box nobody.
but
People,
you know what I mean, right? Like a woman can be cool with this dude,
huh?
but she could be giving it up to him all giving him he just smashing all the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? And
Well, no, break that
nobody
down a little bit.
knows.
Break that down
What
a
I'm
little bit for me.
saying is you be think she can introduce you. You could be going out with her.
Okay,
You could be taking her serious, right?
okay, okay.
And she can introduce you to say like maybe just like a porno guy, just a guy, just that guy, or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And he's cool with you, and it's not really nothing for him. They just have that kind of thing, whatever. And sometimes that's what goes on between these two. You know what I mean? And it's just
Got you.
it's very casual to the
And
point where
you're
you
saying
know,
based off, and you're saying more or less based off his energy because of who he is.
yes,
Yeah, got you.
how matter of fact it is. Like it's not invasive.
Yeah,
It's all like about what she wants to do at that time. So if she feels like getting frisky, be like, okay, I'll oblige you. We cool like that. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
it's like that kind of thing. And he'll tear that thing down, man. He'll knock the bottom out that joint, take care of her, and she'll go about her way and be cool with it, you know? It's
Yeah.
just but when you get to that level of how guys can't understand how women can be that kind of sexual casual, I think it throws men off a little bit. So
You said you think it. What do you mean? What do you mean when you say that?
I think some men take women to the point where sex seems to be such a high standard for closing
Okay.
out the deal for some guys.
Explain that a
But
little bit.
they put it on a pedestal, so like that becomes
Where
everything.
where do you think that's coming from?
Oh man, ownership. I think maybe maybe thinking that you deserve something that is not, that is not given to you normally or naturally, or that you
Okay.
feel like you've done things to deserve a certain type of woman, or in your mind, you know what I
Did
mean?
so tell me this now. If take a kid like that.
Yeah,
How do you think that they're building? Where do you think that building up come from? Is it from watching, I don't know, cartoons, their parents? Like, what
that I don't
is it just not knowing it's something just inside of some guys where, because remember, a key rule is no pedestal, and
that
that
was
can be
always
very,
taught to
and
me.
that, now that was taught to you at a very young age. So
I was literally taught that like at 9 years old. Do not
right
put any woman on a pedestal.
now the
I
question is,
remember that very
why does that
particular.
have to be said? Is my question.
I found out later,
Is
but
that
I
a human
see,
nature? Is that just a human nature thing?
man, why did that have to be said? I wish my brother was still living that I can ask him at my age now. But
Yeah, yeah.
what I'm thinking about for me is that
Because did you have an inclination to put a woman on a pedestal, a girl? Did you have that inclination, but your brother was in the back of your mind saying, "No, you know you can't do that now, brother."
my
Was it
cousin,
like that, or what?
I always remembered it. So even if it was a girl that I like and she didn't return like whatever, like anything initially, for me, it was like me disciplining myself to like not chase.
Well, give me an example of when you say she's not returning. Like, give me a scenario of like you're 14, 15, you just happen to see her at the corner
Shit,
store,
younger than
and
that, man. Maybe like
okay,
12.
10, okay, 12, okay,
Yeah, I'm thinking like
and
maybe 12. Yeah, 12,
and you
13.
what you mean? You see her at the corner store, and you just kind of look at her. You're like, "Oh yeah, she's cute. I want to holler at her." Or what? Like, how did the
Yeah,
emotion? How did the emotion come?
yeah. I really like. I want to holler at her, just not other.
Uh,
Put your bid in. You tell her. You let it be known. Write
Hold
a
on.
note or
Whoa,
whatever.
whoa. Okay, okay. So you're being active,
Yeah, at that point, 12 years old. Yeah,
right? So
beyond the note, beyond the
you're
note
not
time.
nervous. I'm just saying you're not nervous. You're not scared. You're not necessarily thinking about rejection per
Oh,
se.
I'm
You have that
nervous. No,
built-in
I'm still
confidence.
nervous. I'm still
Okay.
nervous. I'm still scared about rejection. Of course, nobody want to be rejected, but just handling that part about what the rejection is going to be. You know what I mean? Like some women, or not some women, some girls at that particular time, how I was like, they didn't want to seem easy, or whatever,
Okay.
or that's what it seemed like.
You mean
But
she didn't want to seem easy?
I don't know how to say it. Like,
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't even know if that was the case. But just the fact that I didn't get the number, or initially, or I didn't get
Okay.
to get what I wanted from her at that particular time. You know,
Okay.
do I continue to do the pursuit thing? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
do I
So
continue after that?
so at that age, you're trying to figure out what's your tolerance,
Yeah,
meaning
I'm
that
gauging. I'm gauging it.
I
Yeah,
can chase her and hit
for
her one
sure.
more time or two more times, or I can go to the next one.
I can go to the next.
So
Yeah,
is it you learning inside of yourself? Because like you said, that might be a built-in fortitude that's developing based off of a lot of probably a series of factors. But is it almost like, well, my brother may have told me this, my cousin may have told me that. I may have peeped some things, and my mind is clicking at my age. Everybody's going to be developing different times, right?
different time
And
frames. Yeah,
like man, she fine.
yeah. It was one.
She
It was
ain't
one. It's one in particular that I'm thinking about. Yeah, I wanted
right,
her bad, bro. I wanted
right,
her bad. I did. Had the light eyes and shit. Woo.
right. And
Yeah.
she's not giving you the feedback.
Not what I wanted. Not enough. Yeah, not
Now, tell
enough.
me, now let me. I want to ask you a question about a female,
Not
about girls
enough.
thinking in a second. But before I ask
Yeah.
you about the girl thinking part, tell me, do you think that? Tell me, what was one of your strategies as a kid, 13, 14, 12? Was it ever, let me get close to her before I pull the trigger, or was it, I'm set up a certain way to where I'm just going to go straight at her, get the yes, get the no, and then play the next piece of the game that way. And what I mean by that is befriend her as a strategy. versus
No, no,
going direct and saying, let me.
yeah. I'm not
Okay.
the friend. I'm not, but me
Now,
personally, I'm not the
uh
friend type.
now
But
is
you
that
know
because
that.
of just your upbringing? Well, I'm just trying to play it out though. But is that because of just
Yeah.
your up? Is that just you think that's really because of your upbringing, or you just knew better because of your brother and them were like,
No, that
we don't be friends, or it's just something just naturally just you picked up on?
I just you know what I'm saying? I just, I wasn't trying to be friends with women like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
But why?
girls at that
Why?
time. That's a good question, man. Because there was girls always around though.
Absolutely,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, I just
Because
didn't give I didn't
I'm
want
trying
to.
to play out your personal, like
Yeah,
your
yeah, yeah,
personal
yeah, yeah,
journey,
yeah, 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 yeah. I just
because
didn't
you may
give
not
it.
have had
I didn't
female
give it.
friends at all.
Yeah, not like that. But I did though.
Okay.
I did
Okay.
have, because I was showed you we hanging out, but that was just on some humble, like we just hang out and it's just like, oh, let's just hang out, whatever, and then be like, okay, cool.
Well, every female can get it. That's the game off on the
Yeah,
board that we playing, right? And
yeah.
so you can play it you can play it a few different ways. That's why I mentioned that. What I mean is, say if you're in the neighborhood and you got three girls are your friend, maybe 2 years old or maybe a year younger or whatever, but they're like not friends, but you talk, you play with each other here and there, or whatever, right? They not feeling you not feeling them, but they're on the board. You're on the board too, of course.
Right.
Now you're going at the other chick, but you made a decision that, okay, for these girls, we'll be cool and I keep them in the pocket and we'll just do whatever we do as kids. But but you saw that one.
Yeah.
The one that you saw is the one that's pulling on you though, right?
Yeah, true.
Okay. Okay, I got it. Okay.
It's, what it is though. I think probably the more, for me now, this is just this is personal, like,
Of
but for
course.
me, like,
It can, by the way, it can only be personal.
that's true. That's true. So this is just DC's journey.
Anything else is cap. Broad brushes conversation, bro.
Anything else is capped. So this is just strictly my thing. But if it was a situation where and I'm thinking about the particular joint, I didn't even really like her personality, man. I just liked the way she looked. I did not like her though. No, I did not. She was kind of like bougie, but I was always attracted to those kind of like the bougie hood though, because we all from but she was just
But
like,
now why?
you
Is it
know.
because you just want to dominate that energy?
Nah, man, nah, I wouldn't say dominate that energy. Nah, I just liked her.
Something was growing you to
I
her.
liked the way she looked,
Right.
the way she carried herself. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that kind of shit. You know what I mean? I didn't know what it was at the time, but I mean, I had a type early. You know what I mean? So I knew
Wow.
like, this is automatically what my type is. Big consistent. You know what I mean? Like the people you see with, it's consistent, right? It's like consistent theme going on.
Yeah.
Like people that know me, they be like, yeah. It's
Yeah.
just no. It's just like no cap. Okay, yeah, like before Instagram models were Instagram models, it's like this is just his type, you know what I mean? A woman that he's gonna talk to. So
Yeah.
or that's attracted to him,
Yeah.
Fortunately, I've been lucky that way. So I don't know how I would be if I would always fail with the women that I liked.
Yeah.
That would be a different discussion.
Yeah.
Now I don't know how honest guys will be about that, but that just hasn't been my story. So that's why I can't speak on that part. You see what I'm saying?
Would you
You know.
would you advise somebody to in high school to be with the fellas, to be with the females, to sort of align yourself with females, align yourself with the fellas, mix it up a little bit, be on your own and just go at women straight up?
Yeah,
Like
just
what would you give some people? Because I would say, you could say like, look, man, we cool, right, bro? We cool. Man, just go hang out with them joints over there. They run in a little group. It's like four of them. They run together. One of them gonna give you something. Trust me. Don't worry about being liked, and you like that. Don't worry about that. You know what I mean?
like I said, man, it depends on the personality, but
Of course,
for the most part, I would
people play
tell,
this all different kind of ways.
yeah, for the most
But you
part, I
want to
would
be in
tell,
the game. Is what I'm trying to say. You want to be in the
yeah,
game
I
because
try
different
to,
scenarios are going to make you feel different. For example, you just said it. You had a type, and your approach at 12, 13 was You said you went straight at her.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
You didn't play no games. You didn't try to be sneaky or try to figure out ways
Nah.
to get like, oh, let me find out where she live at. I'm gonna try to be where she gonna be. And
Yeah, I was very mode one at I was mode one in a very, very young age. Yeah, no
so you
doubt.
said she
Shout
didn't
out to
bite the
Alan
first
Roger
time.
Curry.
You said
No,
you
absolutely
said
not.
okay. Then
Absolutely
all right.
not. No, I
So
fell hard.
what was your next
Yeah.
play? Did you have a
Um,
play? Did you have a plan? Did you ask your brother for advice? Did
I
you just
didn't
go
know.
with it or what?
Oh no, I didn't even tell. I didn't want to embarrass myself. No, I didn't even tell him
Fair.
shit. Telling him
Okay.
that like I failed. No, I wouldn't do that.
Okay.
I kept it to myself. But I
Uh,
think that over time, because by the time we got to because I always, this girl I went to school with, of course, you know what
I
I'm
got
saying?
you. Yeah,
So
I got you.
by the time we got to like 8th grade, I remember,
Uh-huh.
yeah, the tables turned. It turned quickly. So from
Okay.
6th grade to 8th grade really was like she knew that I liked her a lot, you know what I mean? That I wanted to
Okay.
talk to her or whatever, get her number,
Okay.
just,
Now was she talking to other guys, other
of
kids?
course, older
Okay.
guys, yeah, niggas in high
Okay.
school, like, yeah,
So
you
you
know
had
one of them.
so you did have a little bit of competition,
Oh,
right? That's healthy.
absolutely,
That
yeah,
competition is very
B-boys, all
healthy.
that. Yeah, of course, absolutely.
So were you mad at those
And it
guys?
teach
Were you
it
hating
teach
on
you how
those
to move
guys?
too. Oh no, I don't do that. Yeah, I congratulate, man.
Now, is that something that you got from
Salute.
your brother? Like, where you even get the from? Where okay, I like this chick. We're
Um,
young, we're kids. I'm mad. I'm emotional. You know what I'm saying? I want her. She don't want me right now. I'm young, but the environment clearly is sending you certain signals because you're not internalizing it, right?
yeah,
You're not getting depressed. You don't feel like you hate yourself. You don't feel like that you're ugly. You don't feel like I can't get girls.
yeah,
You had either you or your family. You had something that was at least processing in your brain saying, I can manage this stress.
yeah,
It is a stressor, and you have to learn how to how to sort of, like you said, you still liked her, but you still moved on.
yeah,
But you
yeah.
kept her there in your mind, obviously, right?
Yeah. So there was like other girls that did
Okay.
like me that I had a hover, like it was like
And you don't like girls that
it
like
was
you, right?
at that time it was kind of weird at that age to have that, like I guess like to have like a certain amount where they may have not been what you wanted, so I didn't really focus on them as much. So they'll send you notes, oh, I think you or hey, how you doing,
Yeah.
let's talk or whatever, let's you know what I'm saying, whatever the case may be. But
Mhm.
but yeah,
So you had
my attention was being derived in other places. Then it was
right,
another.
but you had what you want, right? So you had that done. Okay, I'm not. You didn't get it, but
I
you
didn't
knew
get
what
it
you
at that time.
you knew what you wanted, but
I knew what I wanted. Yeah,
you
true.
had supplemental. You had supplemental
Supplemental. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
to sort of offset some of that energy, possibly.
Practice, by the way. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Because remember, but let me not say remember. I don't want to say it like that. I don't know your life, but like.
But you got to remember, everybody's like around each other. So growing
Yeah,
up,
of course.
so she's getting feedback from them too. So women, girls talk, especially little girls at that time.
We're gonna get. I want to get on that part too a little bit.
Yeah.
No. The reason I'm saying it is this because you have your supplementals in space, meaning that you at your age, we'll just say you have 3 girls that like you. You have already learned how to manage it, almost real time, right? Where you like, okay, well I like her, but she's not giving me the feedback yet.
I wouldn't think of it that way, but I guess
I'm just trying to make it,
No, I mean I'm just trying to be as open
right.
as honest about how I was at that particular time. You're talking about as a kid, but yeah,
right. But
yeah,
those
true,
two, I mean, this is the building blocks in my opinion. But you got those 2 girls in whole, because that might even help your ego a little bit, or at least make you kind of like, well, I can't get her, but I don't have to necessarily fixate on her,
right?
Because there's 2 or 3 other girls who said I'm cute, and so emotionally, I never know if that has an effect internally on a guy. Where if there is a girl that likes him, and of course it's always like that, right? So the girl that likes you don't like her, you like the girl that don't like you, and you're trying to figure out how to.
I learned that very early on,
right? How to navigate it, because the energies will shift at some point. Now the girl who likes you probably will always like you.
Yeah,
but the one that you want will come around sometime.
It will come around. Exactly right. Yeah. That's what I learned. I learned that at a very early age, actually. Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I would
and in fact,
argue the girls that go
she came back around so hard just to skip ahead that
ahead.
it was crazy.
Was you
It was
interested at
like,
that point?
oh yeah, man,
Okay.
of course, man,
Okay.
like her, yeah, ooh, yeah.
Okay.
Because it was like it was like it was crazy because she put it out there like, yeah, that's that's me, like I'm not, don't try to even talk to him, just like she let it be known. Like it was crazy. So I was like, why you telling people this, man? Like, why you even have to like that, Jim? That's crazy, you know what I mean? But that's just to see somebody that determined. Like it was nothing special, nothing, I didn't have to do anything. I still wouldn't. I'm just trying to think like, man.
Did you ever were you ever
Yeah,
taught, or did you
I
ever,
didn't do any special things for her. Go ahead.
but did you ever talk, we were talking about that too, did you ever talk to anybody or pick up on anything from anybody at your age, meaning that you knew she wasn't a virgin,
Right.
but even if she slept with 10 dudes and she's 13 or 15 or whatever,
Right.
that in your space, that wasn't really a measuring stick, I'm assuming. Meaning that, okay, she likes me now, not really concerned about the doughboy she was hooked up with that I know, that's friends with my brother, and she hooked up with him, and she hooked up with the other cat, or she hooked up with the dude next door that lived to her. He hit too.
Yeah.
Was your mind, and did that have any effect just on your mental thinking that, man, I don't really want this? She done been already ran through. Like where do you sort of tie that line in with certain people that you might like? Like if you find out, well, I do like her, but I found out she got ran through, so now I'm less interested. That tolerance level for different guys, maybe based off of sort of upbringing or just how they feel inside, could just make them, whatever, right?
Well, there was a difference. Like, you knew like whether somebody was kind of like, I guess what you would call the experimental stage, boning through clothes or fingering stages and things of that nature.
Of course.
Or the difference between, a young girl just getting ran through, just having full-blown sex all the time. Like I knew girls like that, like
of course,
they got ran through. Yeah. So yeah, there will be a difference when you like, she a freak hoe, she a hoe, you know what I mean? Like, nah, right. I'm not gonna fuck with her. But then, there was still women with experience per se, right? But not as much as the other girls. And maybe it was just like fingering, you hear guys say like, I got to finger her, or I got to, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that. They'll tell everybody because they were so proud of doing it.
Yeah,
but
put
like,
the cracking her open.
Yeah. Sure. But the girls that was like just wide open, yeah, you knew there was a complete difference. Nobody would just try. Dudes would tell you like, nah, man, you don't need to try to even. I knew one girl in particular by the time we were 14, man. This girl, and her name was Keisha too. I can actually say that her name was actually Keisha, bro. Paradox when I tell you that Keisha was, I mean,
she was
everybody. Oh man, everybody smashed.
Right.
Everybody.
25, 30 and under.
Even like just this, I mean, it didn't matter. Right. She was just, that's just how she was, So yeah, there's a difference. Right. So on that level, yeah, there's a difference, but then there's that other where there's.
So what you're saying is that in your area, you would have guys that are hoes themselves let you know that like, nah, not her, because there's gonna be a guy. There is gonna be guys continuing to hit that. Yes. She ain't off limits, but
no,
you might be lucky enough to be warned, because everybody doesn't get warned.
You got to remember at this time, man, like. Man, we had, how it was back in those days, man, with the HIV scare, especially.
Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah, pregnancy.
Oh, man, it was just pregnancies and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's just how it's life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't how it is now, but yeah, it's life though. It is a way of life. Yeah.
Yeah, those are things that shaped our reality. Yeah, for sure. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You endure.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you.
I felt sorry. I felt sorry for Keisha, by the way, man. I did feel sorry for Keisha, man.
Did you feel sorry for the guys that don't smash 20 chicks when they're 15 or 16? I mean, what is it? Who cares?
Keisha moved away and got married, by the way. But yeah, I feel sorry for Keisha.
Now you're getting more into like I guess you're talking about more of what she molested as a kid type stuff. You get
there was a lot of things.
Who cares about that stuff,
man? Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Right. Yeah, no one ever cared about why somebody's like that. It's just what that is, and you
It
keep
was
moving.
what it, yeah, it was what it was at
Right.
the time.
The job of your friends and the job of your brother, unless you like that type, because there are guys who like that type.
That is that, yeah. It's
Your
true.
brother's telling you like, look, you can mess with a girl like her, but she's gonna hurt your feelings.
Yeah, I had a homeboy that got I had to talk him off the ledge when it came down there. They were real tight one summer. Yeah,
Well, remember something. Girls with experience, especially with guys who have less experience,
yeah.
unfortunately, the guy's going to be vulnerable, and she's going to take him for a spin. That's just the word. That's just you got to. But it's a learning lesson. I think you need it because it's a lesson that you learn.
But you know what though? What's so funny about it?
For some people,
is that this particular friend, he always he like those kind of women, man. I mean,
sure, I
put it
get
like
it.
that. That's the kind of woman he
it's okay.
like.
It's somebody for everybody. It's all good.
It's somebody. It's the ecosystem. We talked about it. Like, yeah, he had a type too. Yeah, no doubt.
But the thing is that if she doesn't exist, he can't get what he wants.
True.
She needs to exist for him to get what he wants. It all works hand in hand, in my opinion.
Right.
She's it's nothing bad on her part or nothing bad on his part, because those people need to exist because there are people who are looking for that behavior.
Yeah, to be paired up.
I'll tell you why I say that. Some guys, whatever they're going through in their lives as boys and whatever they're dealing with, that might be a comfort for them, that she's very experienced and she knows what she's doing. And she's been put out there. And there's something that, again, I don't want to do psychology stuff, but there could be something deeper in them that just connects to it for whatever reason, right? That part doesn't really matter. It's just that it's going to be plenty of guys for her. That's just how the game is. Like, and then you both obviously know that. And she also has other benefits, because if you really in the game, then she's all day a plus for a whole bunch of other reasons. You understand what I'm saying? Because in particular environments, in my opinion, you need more mature boys and girls because you're trying to get business done.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So that's why I don't have it. I would never have the issue with it, because we need to feed the system, be it the strip clubs, be it the whole strip, or be it what I'm saying, or whatever, moving weight or whatever it is, right? Or at any level, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Because Keisha the Free is gonna be a great saleswoman and make a lot of money working at a company or something. I'm just making a point. You understand what I'm saying? Right?
AD and everything, associate director,
social director, vice president, all that stuff. So everyone got a lane here. Everyone got a lane. Everyone has
all that shit.
Right. Because in my opinion, in this country, being loose as a woman has many benefits.
It does.
To make money off of. So you can benefit from that. You can also benefit from being another type of person, obviously.
If you,
but you always exploit your position.
Right.
And maximize your profits, or your earnings, I should say. I'm just making a point. Like I never looked at it as it is what it is at the end of the day, right? I mean, so But I always wanted to use, like, do you build a guy or boy to understand those things? Not that you can change them, not that it's good or bad, but this is the game, and I'm gonna teach you how to navigate that.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's your appetite, then go feed yourself, enjoy yourself, right? Because I got friends that are like that. I know people who are like that.
No
all day, every day.
Yeah, no judgments. Be your most authentic self. The most important part of that. Yeah, but
well, a lot of times hoes be with hoes. So he a hoe and she a hoe. So it's all money.
That works too. Yeah.
He got his side joint, she got her side joints, and they got kids together. and life goes on.
Get that DNA test just to make sure everything's on the up and up. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's just the messiness of relationships and dating and stuff. It's nothing to.
Do you think the DNA test should be mandatory?
Absolutely.
Okay.
By law.
Okay.
All day, every day. We got science.
Okay.
Let's play games with that.
Yeah, let's get that out the way, so we don't have to. We don't have to do the daddies maybe no more. None of that even have to. let's not do that.
You got science.
Let's get that on out of there. Yeah,
that's not even debate.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
don't
not.
care if you're married to a husband,
Who
you
cares? It
know.
should just be about. It
Yeah.
just be about. At this point, we're in a system. It should just be by law. We're not living in a jungle somewhere. It's ridiculous.
Especially you signing a damn birth certificate like that shit should be like DNA approved 9999.9. The father is signing right here on the dotted line. There it is.
Yeah, because women
Everybody
don't get
happy.
to, because
You know what I'm saying?
because women historically they want to pick the daddy.
Everybody happy, man.
Man.
Shit. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, women ain't no fool. I mean, they got millions of ways to decide on how to terminate the pregnancy, all the way up to, 3 to 4 months into pregnancy. So it's completely under their control. So definitely, yeah, man should have the ability to put in a DNA motion and have that as an option. I do believe in that, and that's something that should be done ASAP. Yeah, no doubt about it.
And
Yeah.
you said, well, you said, what about you? You said a little part. I don't know if that's more politics or more reality.
What's that? What's the
You
part
were
of that?
saying you were saying it was her choice.
What I'm saying is, yeah, women have a choice to terminate pregnancy
Let me ask you this question:
in most states.
do you have any friends that had a girl terminate a pregnancy?
Yes, I
Okay,
do.
I'm just checking.
What about you?
Absolutely, all day, every day.
Yeah, yeah, I do.
Now we're just doing real world versus sort of science.
Yeah, that's why I
Oh
wanted to
yeah,
have. I mean, I'm glad we had this
politics.
discussion because
Yeah,
like sometimes the politics or the ideology doesn't match up to real life. Of course,
yeah.
that part of it, but I think that should be something that should be socialized.
Yeah, I know way too many
People should be
guys
used
that have made that drive. Said, "Baby, we got to go. You got to kill that." So
to. You gotta kill that. That's what they said. You gotta kill that. That's crazy.
I mean, I always say it's common, but I don't want to talk about that. That's enough. That's just what.
I mean, but like it's a conundrum for me because here I am. I don't support. I'm not really a big proponent of abortion. I mean, I'm on
Right.
record
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. I got you.
Yeah, I think it's faulty. You make that decision. If that is what comes out of it, then you know that's on the two parties. That's on the two parties that did it initially. But they leave the courts have
Right,
left it to the woman
but
to
the
make the
pro-
decision on keeping a baby on them.
but back to what we're talking about with the high school stuff.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, in the world that we live in, unfortunately, it has to happen in that age group because the punishment generally is going to be pretty severe. Because I remember when you didn't have. I remember in the past you didn't have that choice, and the ones that didn't do anything stupid and crazy. Because I know people who've gotten stomachs kicked and a whole bunch of other stuff. But that's a whole other conversation. But
Yeah, man. I know a
but my point.
situation like that too.
Yeah, but my point is that when that option became available to me, it was a massive pressure release, even with Plan B, because when you in it, and you do what you do. And so, unfortunately, especially when you're younger, this is gonna happen. So, having that option for parents who want to keep their good girl good, and for the boys that don't want to have to drop out of high school to go get a job, like it checks. It was, dude. Do you remember the pressure without that option? Do you remember that pressure?
I do.
That was a hellified pressure. I don't know if you remember it though.
I do.
That is like your life is over.
You know how many scares I had,
Man,
bro?
boy.
How many scares I had? Are you kidding me, bro?
Your
That
life was
waiting period.
over.
That waiting period, and then knowing people that I already knew that already had kids, man. I knew girls that had kids in junior high school.
And you got to deal with this chick and her family for the rest of your life. You don't even know who you are yet, and you don't
know who
have an
you are.
option.
Oh my God, man.
Look how different we are now than when you was
Just
30, when you was 20. Now you're talking about you're 15, and I got to deal
yeah,
with this for the rest of my life, and I have an option now.
yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Hit the button. I mean, you can tell me if I'm wrong or not because I'm telling you, I'm just talking about real life.
Yeah, real life.
When you're 15, when you're 15 years old,
you ain't thinking straight.
And
yeah,
you
no doubt.
hooking up with a girl, and you in them cheeks.
7 period.
Yeah,
Seventh
you
period.
believe
Yeah,
you're
you
right.
skipping school.
You
Last
didn't even go
last
to school. No, you
last
didn't even go
out.
to school. You didn't even go to school
Yeah,
that day.
yeah. But just in case you just had to
Hey,
make the transition.
her mom out of town. So it's
Oh,
all
oh, you
you've
in
been waiting
there.
all school year for this day.
You are in there, bruh.
Right.
Woo! She tell you she excited, you excited and shit.
Of
Yeah,
course.
got a playlist.
Of
You got a
course.
full yeah. You ready to go top of the world. Remember that joint? Top
For
of
sure.
the world. You ready to go
Yeah.
in on that joint.
And we had the best R&B songs in the 90s. I don't care
Oh
what nobody say. We had the
God.
best.
In the mid 90s,
We had the
can't
best.
compete. Can't compete with the can't
Can't compete.
compete with the love making music that was
Nah,
made during
can't
that
compete.
time.
Can't compete. That's why we had so many
Right.
babies.
That's
So
why
many,
so
so
many
many.
right. There's so many 30, so many 31, 32-year-olds running around this motherfucker right
That was some bad music, bro. I'm telling you, it was wonderful.
now. 28 to 32-year-olds, man. Yeah,
For sure.
high
For
school
sure.
kids. That's
But
crazy.
my point was is that if you can remember, I mean, truly remember all the lives that were being destroyed at that time before
Yeah.
you had the option. It was like the end of the world stuff, bro. At least it felt like that. I put it that way. Because you got people who were dropping out of school, you had people who didn't go to college. I mean, you had people dealing with people's families that were horrible. You know what I mean? Like it was just man. It was bad, man.
Mm-hmm.
And you would get stories from I used to get stories from my uncles and them like, man, yeah, I know we hooked up in high school and man, we had this damn kid and man, my life just went in another different direction and it was just so stressful. Because you were a little kid, you're a kid. You understand what I'm saying? And you got parents telling you got to grow up now. You remember those conversations? You got to grow up now.
Right.
And remember, depending on your family,
Right.
you had good families who helped take care of the kid, and you got people who got kicked out the house.
Yeah.
You had people saying, "You got to go get a job now. I'm not taking care of you and that child. You was enough. Now I got to deal with this child too."
Mm-hmm.
You remember that, right? I mean, I'm not making this up. I mean, that was terrifying, bro. That was terrifying. And it was millions of horror stories, not thousands, millions of horror stories, bro.
I know, man.
Because when you have a kid, when you get older, you realize how truly not someone telling you, but how truly impressionable a little child is.
Yeah. True.
You understand what I'm saying? And a 15-year-old girl or 15-year-old boy trying to change, man, it gets me down. I have what do you call it? Not Stockholm syndrome. What is it called? PTSD from that. I don't even talk about that. Shoot. Shoot. And you can hit a button and say, let's go do this, or pop a plan B
Yeah.
pill, or
Yeah.
go to shoot.
You're like, that's easy. Let's do it.
Now, if we lived on a farm, then we ain't talking about nothing. You know what I'm saying? But in the world we live in now, man, it's destructive, honestly. And it was a lot of positive stories, obviously, that had happened, obviously, right? But in general, no, man, it was a disaster. And so giving people that option, I think it was freedom. For many people, their lives will be very different right now. Because they'll be sitting on, instead of having them 2 kids with their wife, they'll be already at 3, plus the 2.
That's
with
true.
with the first wife when they're 30 something or whatever they are. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or so jaded that they don't ever get married. I mean, all type of stuff happens from that.
Well, I mean, the thing about it is that we have 2 examples of people that had children early, right, and then the people waited, for a long time, or some people that we know that didn't never have children. You got those too. That's part of our generation.
I'm just saying though, you dealt with a girl, 17, with a kid.
Yeah.
And she's having to deal with men or boys, and then what that look like when she's 24 with a second one. What that look like?
Girl.
Yeah, you know how that turned, man. Oof, boy.
Yeah, I knew a girl. I thought
them girls are different, son.
She told me that we was like 16, and I actually thought this girl was her sister until we started hanging out or whatever. She told me, yeah, that's my daughter. I'm like, what?
Oof.
Daughter was like 5 or 6 years old.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that means she had her like at 11 or like
Right.
10. Like it was crazy. I'm like,
Was it
what?
was it an uncle or was it just a random dude?
Man, I didn't even. I just I didn't get that deep into it, bro. Yeah,
Niggas,
it was very, yeah, it was
niggas are
very
rape a
clear.
kid. So
Absolutely. Yeah,
so
that did happen a lot too,
shit.
but
Way more than people, way more than people think it was happening.
you know. So you had those that told the truth about that, and then you had people that didn't tell the truth about being sexually violated. So it was always hard. Do you think that most of the time that women were telling the truth about that and not or not? What
No,
do you think?
boys and girls are being molested at an astronomical number, even up until today.
Yeah,
And it's still
yeah.
taboo.
I say that because I mean we already talked about
It's
that. You
still
already
yeah,
know.
yeah,
You already know
it's
like
still.
what we seen when we was younger, man.
But
Like
the one reason why a lot of girls are active is because
well, not just
they
girls.
did they
It wasn't just girls that I'm talking about. I'm talking about both.
no no
Both.
no 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 no. It's 1,000% both.
Yeah,
My
yeah, yeah,
point
yeah.
is that man, you can sit here and try to. I already have an answer for the female, but we can diagnose how when boys are messed with, how they by females, not by males. That's a
Yeah, I'm
different
talking about
conversation. Well,
females. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
right. Well, but I would like we can talk. Let's talk about that. Just the real quick on the female part. I would argue just in one scenario, you would say, well, why is she so fast? Well, that's because her father was messing with her. Just
Mhm.
just this one scenario, but or her brother or whoever it was, right? Or the neighbor or something.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Somebody in the
but
immediate family.
right.
Yeah.
Not saying that is why, but that could be one reason. But
Yeah.
for the or a
Very
girl who won't
possibility.
do anything because she was messed with. But either way, you
Very
can't
high
crack her.
probability
You
too.
can't crack her open, and you can't figure out
Right.
why you like me though. And every time you touch her, she tightens up.
She
And
clam up.
now as a
Yeah.
grown up, I know like, oh, somebody was
Yeah.
messing with you, sweetheart.
Yeah.
But again, but for the boys, because I know you have a strong position on the boys part. Now, for the boys, because we are boys in a society that focuses on women and women rape culture, ops, and all that other stuff forever, the boys are almost allowed to be raped, and it's accepted as a rite of passage. So that's
Um,
how you know what I'm saying. So
that's
that's
how bad
a
it
longer
got.
conversation. That's
Exactly.
how bad it got. Right,
Exactly. That's exactly what it
right.
was. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get the dick away. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was like bragged upon, but it was that shit wasn't. It wasn't.
So it was
That's
a mind.
exactly
It was
what
a
it was.
mind F word.
It
It was
was
a mind F
crazy.
word, honestly.
Yeah, it was
Because
crazy.
again, you're trying to figure out, well, why is that boy having sex with all these? Why is he out here just
Yeah.
smashing all the chicks?
Yeah.
Well, because his auntie or the auntie friend been
Playing with him.
messing with him
Yeah.
since he was
Yeah.
9, 10, 11, putting his
Playing with
thing
him.
out, messing
Pull
with
it
his
out.
thing, doing things with
Right.
him,
Seeing how big
her
it is.
titties in his mouth,
Yeah,
all that stuff.
exactly. All that shit, man. Kissing them. All
Because
that
I'm gonna tell
crazy
you
shit.
something.
Yeah,
You know how to,
it's crazy, but it's true.
you know how somebody would say
It's
like
true,
I
man.
would never I would never let men run a daycare. I would never let drop my child off at a daycare. People obviously assign women to do daycare.
Right.
So a lot of mothers would let their friends
Yeah.
watch their son and daughter or their son
Vice
as
versa.
if the
Yeah.
son and daughter is neutral and they're not obviously. But
Right.
that's how people looking at it, like, oh well, the girl and boy's the same thing. So if
Right.
I have so I would have a female watch either one. And
Hmm.
so your girlfriend is a little freak. Your mother's friend is a freak,
Hot than a
and
motherfucker.
you're
Yeah, no
you're
doubt.
8, 9. It doesn't even matter honestly what the age
It
is.
don't
8,
matter.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Pick an age,
It's
right?
not. It's not even funny.
Doesn't matter. Right.
It's true. It's so true,
Right.
man.
So
But
you're
people will look
saying
at
that
that. Yeah.
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. No, go
Now
ahead.
people will look at it like and you would see it like, oh man, so and so mess with you, or like, oh man, yeah, man, that's yeah, yeah, it will be like kind of like, really, like what I'm saying, like when you look back on it, but yeah, it was like a rite of passage. Yeah, that's how twisted that shit was, no
But I'm
doubt.
gonna say this though. The rite of passage is one scenario, but the other scenario is what you were talking about, where you're maybe say you're 10. So we're talking about it's very bad. We'll go
Yeah,
early. We'll go 9, right?
younger than 12. Yeah, no
We'll
doubt.
go. We'll just say younger than 12. You'll
Yeah,
get your mother's friend
yeah,
who is a freak. She knows she's a freak, but she's thinking maybe she's not thinking it. She does it with older men.
yep.
And I'm gonna give you a scenario. I'll give you a personal one, right? I'll give you a personal one. When I was a little kid, older women was fascinated by me. Older women, 50, 40, like old women. Now I don't know what that was, but as a boy, just as nature says, it's telling me something.
Right.
Why are these older women flirting with me? Not telling me that I'm a cute little kid. Let me pinch your cheek. Are y'all trying to smash? I'm not. And I won't tell you where it's at. I won't give you where the location is. That'll make it worse. And that's an early memory. That's an early memory of mine that I vividly remember because it happened frequently.
Yeah.
So now you're telling me as a 9-year-old, 10-year, 11-year-old boy, y'all not saying he's cute. Y'all like, he gonna be good when he get older. He gonna be. I'm like, whoa. Well, I'm not saying as a kid. I'm just laughing as a little boy. Thinking back about it now, I'm like, okay, that's interesting. But like you said, now the freak friend done put her, she done took her bra off in the house. Like, what? What are we doing here? Oh, come over, sit in my lap. But if that was a man and I was he had his shirt off and I'm a boy, you going to prison.
Absolutely not.
You're going to jail.
Real, yeah, no doubt.
And like you said, that she may have a bra off, or she might, she may tell you to come here for a minute. May try to kiss you. Just weird stuff.
Let me teach you how to kiss, all that.
Let me teach. That's it. Boom. That's the one right there. That's it right there. Let me teach you how to kiss.
Now? You kissing
girls now? They're inquiring. Exactly. They're trying to find out your manhood when you're 10 years old.
Man. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that doesn't get talked about enough, especially for Black boys in particular. That it's just we're so put into the box of being like, we can't be victims of anything. We're just always perpetrators or just basically being looked at as far as just being like just degenerate. So that's the reason why that's so unfortunate that boys can't get Black boys can't get their due justice when it comes down to that. Because at these elementary schools, man, that shit is rampant, bro. That shit is rampant. These white teachers and even some of these Black female teachers alike, man, they get one boy in that class, man, that they get fixated on and shit. Yeah, have they way with them, man.
Yeah, couple of boys. You would argue that it would get a little inappropriate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. You want to talk about grooming, man? No, I would argue that nobody does grooming better than women when it comes down to that socialization, especially
Right. Maybe do you think get hard? You ever had that question asked when you was a kid?
Yeah, absolutely.
By older woman?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Very inappropriate type of discussions.
Strange.
I remember my mom shutting one situation down one time. Like, she didn't even say anything, but she's just like, that friend never came around anymore. Like one of her friends. Yeah.
Wow. She really liked you.
Yeah. So whatever she deemed it to be, she was just like, yeah, no, don't say that or don't talk like that,
Yeah. Now, good mamas and good aunts and things like that. Mm-hmm. They call out stuff like that. It's interesting. You say that.
Yeah, because how they, back in the day, your mom friends, they'll have like a card game. They'll bring their children over or whatever, and then y'all hang out and that type of stuff. Oh, he getting older and all that type of shit. Or so. But like, since my brother was a little bit older than me, she wouldn't have anybody over. So because he was like,
he was ready.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So let me ask you this question: if you're a 17-year-old boy, I'm gonna give you a physique. 6 feet, 190 pounds.
Right.
You got a mustache. You got some hair on your balls. Do you think that it's rape if she's 30? Cause she coming. I'm gonna tell you who she's gonna be too. You're gonna be in 12th grade. You're not 18 yet, and she's a substitute teacher. And she's 28. and
I would,
and she a smoke show.
yeah, I wouldn't think that's rape because that's just that will be considered a win for us. It was a win for us.
No, what I'm saying is that because of your Stockholm syndrome? Is that
That's
because of your PTSD? Is that because of your
that,
molestation?
that's what you that's yeah. That's the part you don't know about. You don't know if it's because of how you was raised or whatever. But by the time you 16, I
And I mean,
go
and I'm
even
sorry,
the age.
and you're not a virgin. I put that. I
That's
add
what I'm
that to
saying.
the
Of
list. And
course,
you're
that's
not
what
a
I
virgin.
mean. So
So
even like I'm going at the age of 16, right? By the time you're 16, if
16.
you're betting a woman that's 25, 26,
Yeah.
27, that's a win.
Okay.
That's
Now,
that was considered a win, even though they're obviously, if you look at the maturity and how things probably played out from her end, yeah, you're being taken advantage of, of course. But yeah,
yeah.
that's a whole different
Then
thing.
do you think it's a good thing that
Uh,
you're learning from an older chick, even though you're not 20 years old and she's older, you're 16,
yeah.
17. Do you think it's better to say, okay, from 20, maybe I should hook up with a 30-year-old or a 40-year because maybe I learned something, and you take it from that more of that. This means that you're gonna go at her and say, she's like, you too young to be talking to me, but then you play your part and you
Do
get
you
it
think
done.
that happened? Do you think that happened to most school guys or just a very select few?
Well, I would say I was well clearly select for you, obviously, but
So so
I would also give you this scenario
yeah.
from a street perspective. If you're 16 and you're out the house and you're in the mix,
Uh-huh.
you can bag whatever you want and do whatever you want because you're
Yeah,
an
that's
adult
different.
in a sense, right? So
Yeah.
that might be my only caveat because if I'm 17 or 16 and I'm slinging crack and
But
I got junkies
technically,
coming up, go ahead.
technically that's still statutory rape though, from on
Well,
her side.
I'm talking outside the law. Don't mean that you're in the underground
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
world,
yeah, yeah,
you're
yeah,
in the
yeah. I
mix,
get it. I get it. I
and
get it.
that what I meant is that you are
Hmm.
an adult in the sense that you still living with mama, but you making your own money, you hustling, you still in radios out of cars, whatever you're doing. Uh, you know what I'm saying? And we can even do. You might even have
You
a
took
job
it
at
way
Wendy's.
back.
We can do the Wendy's scenario. We can do having a job at
Wendy.
Wendy's and you smashing the manager too. So I mean, it's different scenarios here.
Ooh.
But we'll start at the streets and work our way up if you want to. But
Man.
from a street perspective, if you're 16 and you're slinging crack, then I would say that you better be smashing 25-year-old all day every day. You shouldn't even be talking to high school kids at that point. But
Yeah.
that's just my advice in that scenario because that environment is such a rough environment that you need to kind of get away from the babies at that point. And so you're gonna probably be with a 23-year-old or a 30-year-old, depending on her mindset. You're gonna be in that area. And I think you should. I think if I gave advice, I don't have to give advice. It happens automatically. But
Yeah.
you're probably gonna be messing with girls who may be 5 years older because you're gonna be in the mix. You're gonna pick up your dope. You're gonna see your dope dealer sisters there. She wild. She 27. And you know what I'm saying?
And ready.
You
Ready to
she
play.
see
Just
you as
ready
a
to,
young. She see you as a young Thundercat. She's oh,
oh, you cute.
I know he can go.
You tell me you cute. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You know.
word.
Well, let's do it easy. Let's do a more like you said. I think a broader one would probably be maybe you get a job at 17 and you work at Wendy's or something. You think that would be maybe a better, more of a common interaction that you might get with an older person versus maybe, or meaning that you're out the house, you're not in like an academic environment,
Yeah, I would say that's
and
more of a
girls are gonna try you who are a little bit older. You mean like would that be more of a
yeah, women, you mean, yeah, women
yeah
gonna
yeah not women but yeah women not girls but women.
yeah.
And how
Pretty
should you
well.
handle that? Because would you say in that scenario that you may start talking about would you consider it rape or not? Because
Well, you never consider it rape though. I'm just gonna say that flat out. Like that's
okay,
yeah,
okay,
you're not gonna really consider it rape. No.
okay, okay,
Yeah, even since by the law it's still considered that. That's why
right.
that's what I'm saying about the conditioning of
Yeah.
boys, by the way, which is kind of like not protective. It's not a protective conditioning. Like nobody cares at the end of the day.
Well, do you think you should be teaching boys to go? Do you? Then I'm asking this thing. Do you think
For
you
the
should be teaching
chastity
your?
of it.
Do you think you should be teaching your teenage boy to talk to girls then? Because your boy is gonna talk to every girl, women included. Like I don't know, I don't know if there's a governor on you as a boy in the real world where you're like, well, if she ain't 17, don't talk to her, and she's 19 or she's 25 and she's fine. I mean, Aren't you gonna? Aren't you even as a book? You know how even little boys have a little game with them. You teach them right. They'll even try to book an old girl. And they like 6 years old. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, would you tell a teenage boy, look, man, you can't. You don't talk to the old girls. Don't talk to them. Don't try to blow it up. But they'll give it to you. And I need to give you
Mm-hmm.
some. Are you saying that's the advice you would try to give out,
No, well, I wouldn't give out. I would try not to give
or will
out.
you let them? Or you let them hunt? Take that dog off the chain. Let them hunt. Which
Mm.
one you gonna do?
I'm trying to think because I had that
Well, we
situation.
know you. We know you was hunting, so we're not talking about you.
No, no, I'm talking about my nephew. I'm thinking because I'm in an advisory role at this point. What you're saying, like, what would
Yeah.
I do? What would I say to him? And what I said to him because he was dealing with a older woman, but we did treat it differently than say like my niece, which is his sister, which she went to Black Bike Week out in South Carolina.
Woo.
You know,
Mm.
with a dude that was like 10 years older than she was. You know what I'm saying? And he was crying. He like we ran up on him. He was like, man, I didn't know
Woo.
she was this age. I had no idea. You can look at the text
Was.
messages, and then I'm looking at the
Ah.
text. I'm seeing what she did, and I'm like, what?
Ah.
You know how you just shocked? You just
Oh
shocked
yeah.
at the
I'm dealing.
level
I'm
of
dealing
her
with it, so I
debauchery.
know for sure. Yeah, one thousand
What are
percent.
you
Yeah.
doing? And then I'm looking at myself like, you taught. What are you teaching this girl, man? But
So let me ask. Oh, stay right there. So
yeah.
would you tell a father or older person or a sibling say, look, my child is 16, 17. She gonna eat, so I'm gonna let her eat. Or you're saying from a compassionate perspective, you're gonna try to blunt that behavior and say, look, sweetheart, I know you looking grown out here, but you're 16.
Yeah.
You don't need a 25-year-old boyfriend with a car. Or
Mm.
would you say, this is the game? I'm gonna let you eat, so you gonna learn.
Yeah, she was a lot like her mother
Okay.
at the same age, just
Well, there
even
you
how
go.
I remember it, and just very sneaky, very conniving,
Uh-huh.
come off innocent, but like, and she fooled me up too because it was always like, hey, hey uncle, all just very innocent
Uh-huh.
all the time and all this type of shit,
She wow.
but wilding, just wow, doing it for the gram, literally, you know what I mean? But
Absolutely.
that's yeah, just that's a hard lesson to learn. And then, like I said, like her brother kind of got involved into that kind of lifestyle too, dealing with older women, So
Uh-huh.
yeah, he was dealing with older women too.
But do you think it's healthy for a girl to date a grown up?
Hmm. In the
Because it is
environment,
rape.
that we're in today,
I'm talking about real world. I'm not talking about the fantasy stuff. I mean, the
I'm
real
talking
world.
about the real. I'm
These
talking about the
16 and
real
17 year olds
world.
are dating grown men all day, every day,
Yeah,
the
you said, but
millions.
do I think it's healthy though? Is what you said, right?
Yeah, do you think it's healthy? Because she's gonna learn. She has to learn. Is my whole point.
I mean, based off the environment, I would say that it's not very healthy. No.
So if it's what's that cliche? What is it? If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. Is
Yeah,
that
it's
how it goes?
true.
So
Yeah,
that's the game. That's the game. It just happen to be your relative, but that's the
yeah, it's
game.
the game. I can't help. I mean, would I want that? Because I know that
Yeah, you
most
gotta let the
likely,
wolves eat, baby.
yeah, that's exactly so. Yeah, and if she can get turned to, because some people are easily turnable, and then they create a thirst in them, and then there you go, voila,
Right.
you got a vicious cycle on your hand.
So let me ask. So let's get into the female psyche a little bit. We can go to the other thing we want to talk about it. I know it's late, but do you think when a girl is being developed, what does her scenario look like? She's 12, 13.
Hmm.
Maybe she got a body, maybe she don't. She's on her period. She has a period or whatever. We'll even take it that far. She hasn't been messed with by nobody, and
Right,
now she has to learn how to play the game, and she
right.
got choices to make. Do I be a hoe like my mama? Do I be a quote unquote good girl like my church auntie, which
Oof.
might be the secret freak, but she keep it clean.
She
Like
keep it clean.
what are because she's gonna have a selection to pick from, and then she's also gonna have her own appetite. So if her freak hormones are very high, and she has to figure out how to manage it, either she can or she can't. Either it's gonna happen or it's not gonna happen, right? So where do you think their scenario is going to be? Because they're on the chessboard. They have to make their moves, right? They have to figure out how they're going to play this out because they hungry too. They got to eat. So
Now,
what's their decision? Be a virgin and stay in the house and
when you
cover
say
up.
hungry, you're talking about feeding their sexual appetite, right?
Everybody here got an appetite.
Sexual appetite is what we're talking about.
Everybody got one. Absolutely.
Okay, so I just want to make sure
everybody got appetite.
All right.
Everybody like boys.
Right.
And now all these ladies got decisions to make. Do I wait to college? Do I do it in middle school? Do I do it in high school? Who do I do it with? How often should I do it? How am I going to be looked at? What do I care? How much do I care?
Yeah.
I have an appetite. My friend don't. She don't never do it. I like to do it all the time.
Yeah.
I had it once. I love it. I need it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she's gonna have to play it a certain way because she's gonna get framed a certain way on her side of the game.
Right. Depending on what a social circle is. Yeah, no doubt.
Because we're all gonna get it. So there ain't gonna be no virgins here, by the way. We're all getting it. The question is how often, how much, and who are you selecting, and basically how are you gonna deal with it?
Do you clean up after you eat? Yeah. Do you clean up?
Right.
You clean up after yourself. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Or do you just leave the table sloppy for everybody else to clean up after?
Because their hormones, their emotions are going to be very different, I would argue, from the boy's emotions.
Yeah.
But she's going to be a player. And the question is, where does her advice come from? You think, mama, brother, sister? Is it she getting it from her brothers giving her game? Is her sister giving her game? Is her mom giving her game?
Man, if I'm being honest, I would say that
because she's gonna say, sister, I like this boy in school.
The peer group probably holds a lot more weight with women than anybody else.
Right. Because they're social creatures, right?
Yeah, but I think that because it's in their immediate circle, where they stand in their immediate circle, depending on who's around them, is what's major. Not even family, I think, holds that kind of weight. I think that not for all, by the way, but I think
we'll keep it general.
Yeah, I think that holds a lot of weight when it comes down to girls, especially
because she has to learn to manage her emotions. We'll start there.
Yeah, manage her box too. Same thing. That's part of it. Yeah,
you can't. Now, would you tell her as her? This would maybe be on the boy side, but would her sister tell her, "Look, if you like this one boy, do not smash his friend." Now, her mind is telling her something way more complex than this.
It would have to come from a peer group. I mean, not unless her sister was like really, really cool with her, but
okay. So we'll go peer group.
From what I've seen, most girls are, within their group.
Now, if it's the peer group, it's going to be diabolical.
They're going to be very vicious. Yeah, no doubt. Very crazy.
Because now, so give me a scenario. You got 4 14-year-old girls. We'll just make a point. They're not virgins.
Not virgins at all. Nah, they're comparing and contrasting. They're doing all that shit. Yeah.
Right. And they like the same boys as well. You're on our side. We're trying to figure out what moves we're going to make to get one of them. Yeah. And they've already made their decision. Maybe.
Yeah. What are you willing to do? Yeah. No doubt.
Girl, now you would say that
so-and-so's nice. But Tyrone though, he just makes me, he gets me all in the feels, and then whatever her feedback is from her girls, that whole
the girls, and that normally is going to get the other girl to smash him too, possibly. That's their diabolical play, right?
That's that duplicitous, diabolical nature. Yeah, female nature, no doubt, man.
Now she has rules to live by. Now, as a young girl, like you said, if it's in a social circle, it's going to be wide open. Now, if she's being trained, it's going to be, don't tell your girlfriends about your dude that you're messing with.
That's most of the time.
Play the covert game.
Don't do that. Yeah.
Now the friends tell me everything.
Yeah, they want to know.
Right.
They want the logistics, baby. Yeah, they want the play-by-play for sure.
Because they're going to run the same game behind her back.
Yeah.
Right. So you end up running through maybe 2 or 3 of her friends just because she done told them everything. You ain't gonna say no. One of them, and that's what I mean about the diabolical part, because one of them is not, I ain't even gonna tell you I smash your man.
Yeah,
and they kicking and laughing at each other
Not
face
not
every day.
unless something goes really wrong, like somebody gets real mad, she can become mad. Like that's the thing. Like they holding all the cards at that point, depending on how serious your relationship is with the initial
Would you
initial
say
female.
girls in would you say girls and not the girls who are solos, but would you say girls in groups they will have a stronger hierarchy than boys in groups? Or
Yes,
you think
absolutely.
you think they'll be about the same? What you think?
Nah. They would definitely have a stronger initial bond as far as like, especially when it depends on as far as relationship wise, because most guys, we're very surface level when we talk about it. Like we talk about the smashing thing, but then you don't really know that dude that's kind of lurking in the cut a little bit. Like, yeah, you could be getting played a lot of different ways with some brothers, man.
Interesting.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. I think we're closer on a lot of other different things, like when it comes down to business and doing things to kind of be productive. Of course, we're way more intricately linked that way. Doing something
Do
progressive.
you do you think it's better to chase a girl that's solo or a girl that's in groups? Or
Well,
and do you think there's even a difference there?
yeah, it wouldn't be a difference for me. You know,
Okay. Okay.
I think it's easier to to be honest with you. I think it's easier to talk to a woman that is within a group, and I have a very particular reason why I say that.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think that because of how, like I remember I telling you how women are. Most of the time, women are already they've already like kind of cased out the joint, like, oh, so and so, oh, look over there, like they already know in the room who they deem attractive, and they agree
Okay.
to it, kind of like a consensus. So
Okay.
you would kind of know very quick order, like where the energy is coming from within a group of women.
Okay.
You talk to a woman individually, sometimes it can be hit or miss.
Interesting. Because sometimes the group dynamics will help girls who are cool with you to push a girl to you.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
You mean
exactly.
that type of scenario?
Yeah, yeah, girl,
Gotcha.
you like him, that type of deal, or
Right.
dumb it.
Right. Every time I talk about stuff like that, it makes me think about that movie with Spike Lee and them. When he made
Which
in
one?
college, he made the joint smash the look smash Spike Lee.
Uh,
I'm about to say school. In school days, I tripping.
which one? Say that again. What happened? What was the
Was it school
scenario?
days? You know,
What was
scenario
the,
where Big Brother Almighty, I think it was him.
oh yeah,
He
that's school
told
days.
Gina to
That's
go
school
and
days. Yeah. Big Brother Almighty. Yeah.
how impactful did that impact you at all when you watched it as a young person or no?
Man, my mom took me to go see that movie, man. My
I
mom
mean,
was a
I mean,
dumb.
I mean, I mean that scene. Yeah, I know. Yeah, she was down for yeah.
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, of
It
course.
did. It did have an impact
Yeah,
on you.
yeah, man. Yeah,
Did you learn from it, or was it
because
just
I
entertainment?
seen it. No, I'm saying you got to remember, like, when I was telling you, like, how remember I told you I had an experience like that where somebody was getting a train ran on them, and how I dealt
Uh
with it.
huh.
I'm not gonna talk about it here,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
yeah, but that's just a scenario. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I was extremely young when that movie came out, but yeah, it had an effect on me though. Seeing how that was,
Uh huh.
yeah, and
Just the
seeing what
dynamics and the pressure that you
yeah.
can put on people.
Which it didn't happen in that sequence. I didn't experience that until later on in my life, of course, because I was like extremely young when that movie came
Now,
out.
I just wondering,
Yeah,
did it have any impact on you as a boy? Understanding
yeah,
these are older boys or men,
yeah,
and watching
yeah.
power, just watching power dynamics and the ability and will you can press on a person.
I could remember my mom explaining to me
Oh, really?
that like yeah, because
That's a hard thing to explain, isn't it?
it's funny
Maybe not.
because
Maybe not.
what was the girls called that was like the what they called the jigaboos, if I'm not mistaken. She said, I don't know why they call it the jigaboos, but I guess that would be what they would consider the AKs would be Tisha Campbell, and then
Yeah.
the jigaboos would be technically, even though they was in a sorority in the movie, would be the deltas, like
Yeah.
that's how they played it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
More the social minded sisters, that type of deal. Yeah.
And the reason why I make a point about that, a lot of movies that we grew up watching as kids, it's all social engineering. So the reason why I bring it
It
up is
was.
because just how those scenarios are.
It was, yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking because, like, if I'm not mistaken, that was not September? Was it the 75th year of Delta's being? It was because at Howard they do that. They always do the celebration there.
Uh-huh.
You know, every 10 years, and then the centennial that just happened recently was a big deal. So
Oh, huge. It was huge. That was
it was
huge.
huge. It was
Yeah,
huge.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
no
yeah, yeah. It was
doubt.
crazy.
It was a gang. Yeah, no doubt.
Oh,
So
it was crazy.
yeah. So yeah,
So tell me this. I'm gonna give you another one. Did different world have an impact on you? And what I mean by that is,
different world
we're
had an
young.
impact on it too. Yeah,
We're young, and you're seeing relationships, not
yeah,
necessarily just smash and grab, just sort of seeing. I don't know if you call them mature college relationships, but they was trying to do more like dating than just like getting it in.
yeah.
I don't even. Did they have anybody who was? Did they have any dudes who were whores on there, or any females that were whores? I can't even remember off the top of
Wasn't
my
it?
head.
Was it?
Was anybody
Dwayne
easy?
Dwayne Wayne's homeboy? Wasn't he like the
Oh, he
real?
was a player. Yeah. Raj or whatever.
Yeah, Raj. I mean, to a degree. I mean, he still
They
was.
didn't really show it though, but he was a player. He
Yeah,
was smooth. He was trying to be
yeah. He
smooth,
was
trying
trying to
to
be
have,
smooth and talking. Yeah,
trying to
so
get all the girls. But they made him a fool though.
the big booty
They
dark
made,
joint.
but they
Yeah,
made him a fool because they didn't let him.
they
I
made
feel
him.
like he was always trying with these corny lines, but he could never close deals.
He could never close. Yeah, no doubt.
He could never close.
That wasn't college during that time period. I mean, I didn't hear. Yeah, most of it I heard it was real crazy. You know how it was back in those days.
Well,
Yeah.
college was crazy. I mean, everybody. I mean, it was. I don't even want to talk about that. That's too much. That's too much. Because if you're not getting wet in that environment, then something wrong with you. But anyway,
He was like, he was like in elementary preschool. Yeah, you hear the stories where they was like partying all. Yeah, that shit was
it was crazy. Yeah, you're making choices not to engage that environment because it is hedonism.
Yeah,
so you're choosing not to join that stuff. It's just everything.
Like when this was still like DC was like considered like chocolate city,
the real chocolate city.
Woo, man, Cap Center, all that was going on, IBAX, all that, man, Public Gardens. Yeah, man.
It was flowing. Look, it was flowing like honey. It was flowing like honey.
It was.
You just had to get your cup and stick it out there into the waterfall of honey. Just put your cup out there. You fill it up.
It was crazy. Yeah, man.
Tell me this though.
Back when Mayor Barry was snorting cocaine off prostitutes' butt cheeks, man, up at the Watergate Hotel.
Everybody getting that.
Everybody getting loose.
Tell me this. How do you think you would tell a kid that, say, that environment is going on, right? Say even in high school or whatever, that environment is going on, and because I always wonder sometimes you may have a couple of scenarios with boys, right? You may have a boy that's just not into it. So we'll give him a pass. He wants to read books, play with chemistry sets, and go to college and be a mechanical engineer. So we'll give him a pass. You want to do that? Give him a pass, right?
All right.
You want to give him? I mean, you can talk about him, but we give him a pass. What about the kid? What about the kid, 13, 14, 12, and he wants to get in the game? What does that look like? But he can't.
He wants to get in the game.
But he can't.
So what kind of game are we talking about? What kind of game?
We're only having one conversation. It's only one game. It's only one game that matters.
Yeah, that's whew.
Nature.
Yeah, it's but he can't get in the game.
The natural order of things. I'm talking. Yeah, the natural order of things.
No, I follow you. The frustration is. I think that's
now
what we
frustration. What does that mean?
What we're seeing now.
But what does that mean?
Well, trying to get into something that you don't have either experience in, or you don't have free access to. Or people just think that you just operate very weird. You know how people just think that, they just like, you could try to hook. You could try to like,
give me something better though. I need more real. So you're telling me that the kid is 13. I'll help you out. The kid is
I don't want to
13.
do any bad examples.
Why not? Who cares? The kid is 13, right? And we will
I thought we was talking older, man. 13, everybody's
no. I'm talking about building blocks. Other stuff, I'm not
oh
worried about that.
yeah, at
It's
that
building
age,
blocks.
yeah,
If
at
you're 13 or
13,
14 and you see your friends, like everybody's having fun. We'll say some people are
yeah,
playing around.
yeah. Still,
Things are happening.
yeah. Things are percolating. Yeah.
But you can't get in. You can't get in the game because you said the key word maybe frustration.
Right. Yeah.
Where is the frustration? Where is the frustration coming from? Is it insecurity? Is it not having a big brother? Is it what's stopping him from jumping in because he doesn't feel like he deserves to be there? Somebody told him that he's not attractive. Somebody said that he's, like, is it something that's been done to him by his mother saying you ugly? You're not ever gonna get a girl. Like, is it somebody doing something to that person, or is it just naturally occurring?
I just think that somewhere down the line that some people, not everybody, but some people internalize rejection in a certain kind of way, and
Does it become a mental illness?
It starts to reflect. I don't know about that. It starts to reflect on the outside of them, so they start to develop, sort of like a barrier between them and other people, and things become awkward very quickly.
So is it them following the rules of what you just said, which is don't put it on a pedestal? Maybe that's one.
Yeah,
rejection.
That's a major thing. Yeah.
Now, what if the kid can't make friends?
And dealing with rejection. But that's what I'm saying. That's part of it, though.
Yeah, got you.
The awkwardness, you know what I'm saying, that it develops.
Some kids can't make friends, right?
Yeah, what they deem to be cool or socially acceptable.
Right.
Maybe
do you blame the parents for that? Like, yo, let me get him some Jordans. Let them get him some Guess jeans. Let me get him go get him a haircut at the bar. Is it would you blame at 13, 14, would you blame the mother and the father not looking at the kid saying, yeah, I need girls to like him at least. And they're watching him. And do you think it's some of that, or are you saying it's not that either?
Yeah, it's very difficult to say. I don't.
It ain't many scenarios here, though, bro. It ain't many.
No, but I mean, what do you think, though? I mean, you're asking me.
I'm telling you what I think. I just said it.
So what is? What do you think? Let me hear it again.
I said one scenario could be dad. Dad is like, that. Say, I put it this way. Maybe the child's being neglected. I put it that way. And so, as a solution potentially that I've seen happen in real life is if a mother notices it or a father notices it or a brother notices it, they will start to work with them. Yeah. Because I don't know what world we're living in based on how you're thinking, but in my mind, you're trying to get your 12, 13-year-old, 14 boy to be with girls. Now I could be missing that, but I would assume that that's what me and you are on the same on the same page with that, right?
Yeah, I would be.
Am I wrong about that, or am I missing that?
I would be very concerned if that was not something that was already happening naturally. Yes.
Got you. So if in one scenario, if the family member notices that, I don't think uncles ask you up, they'll ask you straight up, obviously. That is. But true. if you notice that he's scary, or he's insecure, or it's like they're like boys like pit bulls, little baby pit bulls in my opinion. But anyway. But you have to put them on the teat sometimes. You understand what I'm saying? Get them to drink that milk. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm just joking around.
You foul, man.
You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm just joking around. But I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying, right? You would need to, for example, like if your brother saw that you were scary, and he understands the future of your life. He knows already because he's older and he's seen his uncles or whoever saying, but we know we're gonna have to get you comfortable because this is the real world. So I'm not gonna let you play yourself. Yeah. And you be out here, lost in the game.
Yeah, that you can't protect yourself, or you can't protect yourself against,
I have an older person that I know that's in their 60s. I'm gonna give you a quick example. I'm gonna get back to the kid thing, just thinking about it right now. I know an older person in their 60s, first wife ran through them. Second wife made a better decision, locked in. Been together for 35 years. It's all money. My point is that when I hear him talk about this situation, I said, I know why. Because your father did not lock in on you like he did his brothers. Mm-hmm. His brother they money. Like you talk to them, me and you talk. We call them up right now. They give you the game all the time.
They solid. They rock solid
They
with
rock, man. What these are? Come on, bro. These are savages.
it.
But for the one brother, because this family, just some family dynamic stuff.
Sword
Didn't
and
really get
shield.
he got missed, and he didn't really get the maybe just one scenario. He
I
didn't
got
get the courage. I would argue he didn't maybe get the courage that he needed because of some family stuff. He wasn't around. It was a lot of things going on, and so he got missed. And I saw the outcome of that one scenario.
you.
What I was saying was that if your brother didn't tell you the things that he told you, you could have got hurt at 13 or 12 just by a girl telling you no, not even anything heavy.
Yeah.
Because
True.
remember, the pressure as a child is what? Because this is not the 1900s. Like you already being told first kiss, first
Yeah.
dance,
Yeah.
first time holding hands, and
Mm-hmm.
I won't get graphic, but and it goes from there, right?
It goes from there.
Now that's a more of a Hollywood example. In the real world, it's was you a part of the humping kids, the
Yeah.
hunching?
The
You
hunching.
know, so,
No doubt.
so that's more real world, but I'm not trying to do too much. You know what
No
I'm saying? That's
doubt.
more
Yeah,
you're practicing through almost nature. It's like it's happening. No one's telling nobody this. It's just why do we
happening
know
in
to do
real
this? Why do we
time.
know to
Yeah,
do
no
this stuff,
doubt.
right?
And I'm just saying though, think about the kid or the young man that's frustrated that he's not being able to
Yes,
participate,
yes.
and
That's
that's
13
that's
is what I'm
what you was
talking about.
talking
Now,
about. Like that
yes.
that is the question. Like, that's where I see the frustration can kind of come in. And then once that frustration locks in, then things can get their energy can become weird, and then people's energy towards them become weird, and then it's just always this kind of you friends with him, and he seems to be kind of different, like what's up, oh he cool, da, 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 what I'm saying. So depending on who's talking about that person, but yeah.
Because in some cases, you know, some boys don't maybe not have maybe a lot of testosterone. They might not be driven hard enough, maybe naturally. I don't know if even
do
that
you do
plays.
you do you believe that whole testosterone thing about
Well, I'm just using the word testosterone. I just know that some boys are way more horny than other boys. I just keep it straight up there.
yeah, true.
And I don't know what that trigger is, but it's a trigger. I knew boys that could not stop having sex with or trying to have sex with every girl in the room. I knew other boys was fine talking to one chick at
Yeah,
13, 14. It wasn't no big deal. They just didn't have the appetite. So I don't know if that's testosterone, whatever that is inside of people. I'm just saying the word testosterone, whatever it is. The aggression is different and different. Everybody has a certain, and not only that, it's also the pressures of your group circles. Now, if he's a kid that doesn't have friends, it's complicated because a lot of times friends will pressure you to put you in the game,
yeah,
make you shoot the ball. Like we're gonna get you to shoot the ball. We're gonna
yeah.
keep passing until you shoot the ball.
And check you along the way if you got a good group with you.
And check
Yeah,
it, right. So but you're talking about the isolated person,
yeah.
right? Because I'm assuming I'm assuming
No, I'm
isolated.
talking
I'm
about the
assuming
isolated, yeah,
okay,
the isolated person that's developing outside of that social network. Yeah,
right, right. Because we would argue that maybe that social network is very important for young kids. Again, back to the parents making sure that their boy knows how to make
right,
friends. Maybe that would help. You
right,
know,
right.
would you or
So let's
but
fast forward and
okay.
get to where this particular person, you said that they majored in chemical engineering, and
Oh,
then
you want to jump to the guy that's almost probably a
yeah, like
virgin. You would argue that point.
22, 23, or he got
Okay.
very little experience. He doesn't have that much experience at all. Like,
Okay. He kissed the girl and
but
they put his finger somewhere. Okay.
right, but it still ended up awkward. She was like, "Oh, I'm not," like he could never get that second holler, that next inquiry or that next base to where when I'm gonna see you again, whatever the case may be. However that articulates at an older age for
Hmm.
some that's like that. You know what I mean? That's they're still in that awkward stage where they're not really used to being around a lot of women. Like, how does that affect the ecosystem and how that person views everything? Just think about if that person develops and then they have like a personality that develops that way, where it's sort of like anti women and everything that. So it's not just about the societal failures. It's like you're combining your individual failure with the societal failures of said woman, and now you're kind of like painting this negative picture, and you broadcast it out, and that's where your energy is coming from, and it just develops, and then that's where your energy derives, and you kind of push it out there, and that becomes part of your personality.
Oof. Wow. I don't know. I got to think about that for
I'm just saying. I don't know. I'm just saying
Now,
because
I would tell you that I would give you an easy scenario. I give you an easy one, and you can work that through their life. And I can give, and I'm gonna try to make you answer the hard part. Now, the easy scenario in this particular, this is one scenario. This is one with he goes to college, becomes a chemical engineer. I could maybe make it.
very limited experience with women. Now that's very important.
I will. We go. I'm gonna walk you. I'm gonna walk through. I'm gonna throw in a few scenarios.
Right.
The first girl he meets is also a chemical engineer.
Ooh.
And they become girlfriends, and it's gonna be his first and his only. And
Okay.
they're gonna graduate college, and they're gonna get married.
Oh wow. That seems
Now, right now, I could go. We can go deeper. When they're 10 years into the relationship, and
right.
talk about her appetite, talk about his appetite.
Oh,
we can do that. We can do that, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna keep it magic. I'm gonna keep it magical and fantastic.
Oh, you really on some Snow White and Seven Dwarfs shit, because I'm telling you, by the time in the college, somebody that broke that thing, they gonna break bad, man. They're gonna catch it behind the dome. They're gonna catch it behind the stadium, give a dome.
And I hate to give you another movie, but you made me think about it just now. Remember the movie? Remember the movie with
That's dangerous right there.
Remember the movie with the Bachelor movie where
murder.
Remember the Bachelor? Remember the movie where they got married and Tay Diggs slept with his best friend,
best man,
and old girl,
best man.
Now that's what you would say would be the play on that would be the potential that could happen, right?
They're very, very delicate.
That's a different scenario, but you know what I'm saying. You got someone there who he believes she didn't have sex with nobody in high school. We'll leave that alone. Leave that alone. And go with the movie.
We already. I told you, man. I experienced that. Oh my god, man. That is almost. That's a trauma that doesn't never heal. You hear me? That is something that never heals.
Boy.
It never heals, bro.
That's real life too, boy. That's real life right there.
That's a deep, deep wound, man.
I laughed because I said she wasn't a virgin anyway, but that's a different conversation.
Yeah,
so look,
man.
So the scenario would, like you said, because women do that a lot. Because now I would argue they do that from my position because of what in some cases I've done to her. But that's, again, you can play that either way you want to play that, depending on what side you want to be on with that.
Right.
But I've seen on both sides where if somebody jumps out there, it makes the other person just be vindictive at that point.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter the gender. But I would give you that clean argument that he's an engineer, first time, they get married, life goes on. They live in that little square. They live in a little square life in their nice house and working for the federal government or something, right?
I really wish it worked. I really hope that works, man. I'm praying for you guys. I'm hoping for the best, man.
But you're saying the other scenario is he's an engineer. He's even too nerdy or too weird to even get that girl that's in his class.
Yes.
You talking about that guy?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But
now that kind of person, I don't know how you would. I would have to think a little bit more. You can maybe walk me through it, but I'll have to think a little bit more about how would you play that out for him? Because he may start to develop issues at that point. What you're trying to say, right? He might get into pornography. He may just stay on the internet all the time. He might be sending money to women in the Philippines. He might be.
Yeah.
So you mean in sort of that behavior that's going to kind of come from that? I got you.
It manifests in women are just this because the experience that this person has had, and it fits the narrative of the societal pressures of what is developed naturally
Yeah.
with we just say with black women in particular. So yeah, it fits the bill because you know we seen it. You know, black women can be pretty. You know, they can be pretty savage, bruh, when they talk about things that they do not want to talk, that dudes that they do not want to talk to. Yeah, they can be pretty blunt that way. So yeah,
What do you?
unfortunately.
I don't. No, go back. I don't. You got to break that down again. So you're talking about a black
Like
guy who's okay.
if a guy's having frustration, right, with women,
Okay.
just
Give
period.
me a type. Give me. I need a scenario.
What we
So
talked
you
about
saying we talking about the same? You talking about the same guy?
yeah,
Okay.
chemical
Okay.
engineer,
Okay. Okay. I got you. I'm with you.
very limited experience.
Got you.
But even if he did have a college sweetheart, it didn't work out. Whatever the
Got you.
case may be,
Got
you
you.
know,
Got you. I
didn't
got you.
work.
I got you.
But you know, it wasn't a good clean break. Those kind of situations never really are. You know, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
She could have got cold feet or whatever. She didn't want to marry him. She just said, "I just, you know, I just want to. I just, it's not you, it's me." Type of deal.
Got you.
She could have pulled
Got you.
that shit on. It could have been any
Got you.
inexplicable reason.
All right. She's smashing the
You
football
know.
player. I got you. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh
I
no, I
got
don't
you.
want to say no.
She's going to the league.
Oh no.
No, I'm joking. That's right.
How many
I'm joking.
rounds, baby? The
I'm going
second
joking. I'm going
round.
shut. Shut.
I'm gonna take us to the top of the world. No, let me stop. But
Because I'm, you know what? No, but 1 second though, you make a good point because there are women that guys are chipping away at, and so
yeah,
she may have a boyfriend that's he only had to be really a nerd. She having a boyfriend, but that maybe a
be
football
curious.
player is chipping away. He's chipping
Yeah.
away, and
She keep curious.
he get that contract, and it just melts. He only got to chip it
Yeah,
no more. So that
yeah,
happens. That happens, right?
yeah. It happens a lot. Yeah.
Because he becomes a golden ticket at that point. Her whole energy can change in the instant at that point.
Yep. True.
You know, so yeah, for sure, I get that. I got you on that. I
Yeah.
got you on that
So,
scenario. But you're saying that, but you made a hard statement that said that black women specifically is
yeah.
harsh.
Yeah. No doubt.
Where you getting that from?
Just from basically the social evidence that black women can come on and just really lay into what they don't like. You know, they
Huh?
you know I
That's what
don't
your
want
experience has been.
not my experience. I'm just saying. I'm talking about
Oh, you mean how he's going to interpret her?
yes.
I got you. Okay,
Okay.
okay, I got you. I'm sorry, I got you.
You got to remember that there's people have different experiences, man. Like we're
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about people that don't have that much experience. So yeah,
yeah. So you're saying that however she is for in that scenario, to him, it's going to be. You're saying you mean as far as him trying to talk to somebody at some point. What do you mean when you say it? Because he's already
I'm
having
saying
other
like if
issues,
he
right?
yeah if he had a break from his college sweetheart, right, and he's just been dating and the dating hasn't been successful. It's been kind of like he's been getting used for you know
Oh, okay. You
dinner
going there with
dates
me?
or whatever.
Okay.
This not kind of deal, or
Oh, oh.
it's never moving
So he out here
forward
tricking.
positively
Okay. Wow.
without the result.
And you're saying he's
Tricking
also
without the results.
right, but you're saying he's also starting to maybe get something in him that's building up
Yeah.
because of all the negative experiences by his
Yes.
choice.
Yes.
He's making the bad decisions here.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. His decision is still try to exactly because like I said, a lack of experience and being that delayed for that long, you don't get used to the nuances of different women and having that bouncing back at an early age to where you can kind of develop within that, and you're still developing as a young man or a young boy to kind of deal with the ebbs and flows when it comes to relationship. You win some, you lose some. It can go any kind of way. Women are basically unpredictable. They can always
Mhm.
break bad.
Okay.
It's never a sure shot, no matter how no matter how it looks, to you. I
Okay.
mean, and that's just a lot of guys don't get to learn a lesson. So, you know,
Now you're saying this is a guy who is still in college or he's out of college?
out of school. I'm talking about
Okay,
he
out of
working
school.
now, got a good
Gotcha. Okay,
job,
he working.
everything. He's
Okay.
successful. Yeah.
Okay. And is he working in a mix? Well, he's going to automatically working in a mixed environment.
Yeah, the mixed environments.
Now you're
Absolutely.
saying that his preference is black women, or he just getting hit, he just getting shot down by everybody.
Nah, I think the
Or you
preference
just keeping it? Are you
definitely.
just keeping it from a? Or you just keeping it in the
No,
name black?
I'm specifically saying the preference is definitely black women. I mean,
Gotcha.
because at that point, if they move on to a different race of women, I don't think that it's that hard because I don't think that the other women are socialized the same way as black women are, of course. So I think that they could pretty much get probably what they want if they go to another race of woman that quick. Personality wise, I mean, not I don't know what the physical aesthetics are, depending on the person, but yeah.
Hmm. It's a strong statement. Oof.
Yeah, that's an opinion though. It could be wrong, man. I could that's not
I'm sure people agree with you. I don't agree with it, but I'm sure people agree with it
that's what
for
I'm
sure.
saying. Like it's not something that I would deem as true or not true.
Now, do you think it'd be messed up if somebody took pity on him?
Yeah, I don't agree with that at all. I don't think people should take
But
pity.
but if he's not assertive, if he's broken, what options will he have though?
I don't know.
Should he go to church and start praying to God?
I don't know, man. That's I don't know. I don't have the answer to that one.
Hmm.
Well, what
So
time?
maybe
What time is it, man? What time? I hear the birds out there chirping, man. You want to open it up for like 30 minutes and then like get up out of here, or what? Let the
oh, we
since
can do that. That's good.
if anybody want to come up and discuss real quick and share their thoughts about what they didn't heard, and we can kind of move on. We ain't gonna be here long, people. Like good 30 minutes, and
You sound like you tired over there.
I am, man. I'm like, I'm lazy. I'm chilling, man. You know.
I'm gonna load it in there. We'll do a hard stop in 30. That's good.
All right.
We'll make it up. We'll just do maybe 4:30, 20 something minutes, maybe 4:30, 4:40. It'll be a hard stop at 30 minutes. So.
Yeah.
But maybe we even stop sooner than that, depending on if anybody gets on anyway.
Cause I still gotta, even though I got like a late morning, I could still give my move around like 9 o'clock, 9:30. That'd be good. But yeah, man, I think that's yeah, that's and a lot of this, just for everybody don't think that we're trying to be experts. We're not being experts. We're just two brothers, man, just discussing, our
Expert.
experiences when it came.
I haven't cited no books. I haven't
Nope,
given out no processes.
absolutely not.
Nothing. We just chopping it up.
We're just chopping it up. Yeah, we're just trying to do some real talk about, our experiences when it came
And
down.
there are no experts in my
I don't believe in that either. Yeah, for sure. I
opinion. Good
definitely.
luck. Good luck with that.
Good luck with that.
And Steve Harvey. No, I'm joking.
You can claim it though. You can claim it. I
You
hear
can make a
you.
lot of you can make a lot of money from it.
Right. I hear you. 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 I got you. I
Step
mean,
one, buy
there's some good.
flowers.
I think
Step
there's some good.
two,
I
take
think
her
there's
to
some good
dinner.
examples though. I think there's some great examples of
You can find
suggestions
you
on
can
what
you
you
can
can
you
do.
can find you can find that information
Yeah.
in a horse's ass if you want to. So,
Yo, you bitch.
so I'm sure it's something in there that's valuable.
Yeah, you be an asshole right there, brother. Woo, man, that's crazy. But yeah, man.
That's an old country saying.
That's funny. That is that's
A vulgar country saying.
very vulgar, by the way. Very much so. Uh,
But yeah, nobody's jumped on. We get a couple more minutes. Yeah, we can see if
yeah,
anybody jump. We can jump.
we could probably do. Guess we could talk about the whole situation later. The boy and his mother.
Mhm.
Jail time. I thought. I don't know, man. I mean, that's a very unique situation. Ain't the kid like 14 years old?
Yeah, straight A's too.
He had access to a gun.
Mama's license to carry.
So yeah, that yeah, I guess she was they're gonna consider it to be a threat. Another black person got killed, so that part is covered. Um, hmm, It's
and
interesting.
they dropped the charge from first degree. But
Yeah,
I have more of a more
yeah, I saw
complex
that.
political beef than really the the scenario is a perfect scenario. It's an unfortunate situation, but
Yeah,
from a technical perspective, it's a perfect scenario to sort of, I think, look at how Democrats and Republicans and politics manage our
yeah,
lives, depending on who you are in the scenario it plays. Same situation, but depending on who the characters are, the way the
right.
law is applied, how fast the law is applied, and then on a political level, how it's dealt with. Because if I change colors here,
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna get the
Oh,
right
you're
the
gonna get a different
NRA.
result.
They're gonna
Oh,
be
you're
running
gonna get a
a
different
certain
result too.
program. Right.
Yeah, you're gonna get a different result. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you get it to a point where the perp is not the perp, but the victim is white, a white
Right.
man per se, and even if the same things even happen, he threatening the mother,
Uh-huh.
and say like it's a 45 or 46-year-old white man, and they get into an altercation, and then a 14-year-old boy goes in there and just lay his ass out.
Or if
You,
she's a
you
white
let me
woman, he's a black man.
right. I mean, there's so many different ways. You let me know if there's going to be a difference in that whole situation. I mean,
It's
you
going to
know,
be a massive difference in every situation.
and you'd be a fool not to notice that. That's why it is a perfect example of the justice system and how it applies differently with different
Now
variables.
I blame us for it, but I know, but it's complicated because I would
You
argue.
sound
I,
like the blame thing. You almost sound like Umar now. That sounds very Umarish. You know, Dr. Umar. Now
no,
that sounds.
I'm talking about black society. And the reason why I'm making a point about that is that black people have made a
Well,
political decision.
at least you said it's both. At least you said it's everybody. It's all of us, all together.
Well,
So
I'm not into gender war shit, so I don't play those games. But my point is that
right.
um, my point is that politically, the Democrats arguably could be purposely running black cities to keep black death at a high rate and to keep us very violent, but not protect the good citizens in those areas. They're playing a much bigger, more complex game with drugs and controlling people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so, if it's a different scenario, even in a different location, it's handled very differently.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Because remember, the tightest gun laws are in Democratic run cities. So regular folks can't protect themselves. And so the drug dealers and the gangbangers run wild. And so if you finally protect yourself in a very clean situation and you're the one and you're getting instant first degree murder, it's like they're sending a message to people. Now,
Mm-hmm.
politics is very smart. They dropped those charges because I don't think Democrats want to have a debate because you might get a Republican, especially maybe a Tim Scott because he's running for president. The other ones ain't gonna talk about it. They're gonna just be quiet. But
Mm-hmm.
somebody might jump out there and say, well, you can't even protect yourself under Democrats. So look at the game they're playing with y'all. Because there's arguments out here saying that in cities where you can carry and conceal and carry weapons, you may not necessarily have the type of crime that you have. Because I'm gonna tell you, Democrats are letting the cities go wild. Period. Hard stop. It's nothing to talk about. Now, maybe Republicans will do the same to keep blacks managed. I don't know that. I don't have that answer. But I do know that we're not being protected, and that's why we're all getting killed, in my opinion. And I think that's a Democratic ops that they're running with the CIA or something. Like it's something not. It doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense, bro.
Mm.
So I was going to use that scenario to make that the contrast between the two party systems and also the FBI, the CIA, and just how things are being managed. Because you got some places that don't have almost no violence. You have some places that do have violence, and you're purposely not solving something for 30 and 40 years. And in some cases, things are even getting worse. But these people have been running these places for this long. No one can be this stupid. There is something being done here on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, and the thing is that the whites on both sides get to use it, right? They're violent, they're out of control, they have low IQ, they deserve to go to prison, they deserve, you know what I'm saying, right? Like they
Right.
have less value. So it works on both sides to devalue us, to not let us rise up, not let us, you know what I'm saying, operate at a high efficiency level. And there's very complex things that are happening, and they're running so much propaganda across the board, it can get very frustrating. You just blame them. But they just don't know no better. These areas, they don't have that crime over here with these folks. Something must be wrong with them. and that goes back hundreds of years because we're still linked to all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And if Democrats really love us and say the way they do love us, right? Because we support them wholeheartedly, you would end crime tomorrow. But what did they do? They didn't do that in the 90s, right? They leveraged crime to just lock people up, whoever it was, random people for nothing. And it became more of a terrorist situation than trying to actually clean the streets up. And
Right.
then when you decide to clean the streets up, you just got rid of everybody. You didn't solve any real problem. You just dispersed people, which might need to happen, but you still got to deal with those problems though. They'll just come back, or they'll just be in smaller spaces around the suburbs or something. Which that's what you have now in Maryland, for example.
Yeah, I think that I mean, when it comes down to certain cities that I guess you would say are democratically ran, um, that there's a certain culture to the city, and that the white people that are actually there within those particular cities have drained those cities of its resources for whatever
Yep.
reason. They self sabotaged it.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how much of that is a party centric deal. Um, because most of the time, if the schools are these pockets are being they're these things are being developed naturally through the school to prison pipeline, right? So that's something that's been
Yeah.
studied.
It's all structural. Yep.
So yeah, that's proven that there's a breakdown that's being purposely done. Um,
Yep.
but I don't really attribute that to the party affiliation more so than I do the city's culture and how they want to deal with its black citizens in that city. That's that's where I land on that because if that was actually purposely true, then it it would show direct opposite in say like the states where you go to places like in Mississippi or um, these red states, Alabama, where they were supposedly supposed to have successful school systems, but that's not what's going on either. So it's still pretty much the same thing. It just doesn't get the coverage as the larger cities, you know.
Okay.
It's yeah, that's a
Well,
political
I think both.
that's a political football that's been used to there's a different what you're looking at is a different way of managing the Negro problem. I mean, there's to a degree, and that the pressure to finally resolve the issue is not progressive enough. That solution needs to be dealt with um, from the youth. Dealing with the boys in particular, so they don't come up in a system that developed them in a situation where there's less opportunities and or they feel like there's less opportunities for them to be violent in said neighborhoods. You know, I mean, there are some situations where they are getting better at that, but there are some places where it's so part of the culture that they
Yeah,
deem
it's
it.
systemic.
Yeah, they and not only that, they like having that reputation for violence. Um, the city itself. You know, even though technically is not as violent as it was back in the day, but I know the people, um, you know, they want to hold on to that. But yeah, it's still not as violent as it was in the '90s and the the '80s and the '90s and the early 2000s. You know, it's
Yeah,
still
you said not as violent. That violence
yeah
can heat up any moment, though.
yeah it's not as violent. Yeah, that's the raw numbers. I mean, it's not as violent
Yeah,
nationally.
no, yeah,
But it doesn't mean that the culture. It doesn't mean that the culture is not hurting. I mean, clearly there's still, a lot of degeneracy that's going on, and a lot of pathology that's been developed still. You know, so
no. I totally understand. So you don't place blame on Democrats or Republicans. What you're saying?
Yeah, I just say it's a systemic issue.
The people who are the leaders of the states in the city. You
Yeah,
don't. It's
those
not on them.
those people have a lot of
Who,
money.
the people who can squeeze you dry and turn your water off. You telling me
Right.
they don't. You're telling me they don't have any
No,
control over
I
this stuff. What you saying?
I say that is I don't look at it as being one party. I just look at it as being something where that is their way of solving the Negro problem. Like for instance, like you just said, like the water, right? The water
Hmm.
issue in Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Well, they're having the same issue in a Republican state out of Mississippi. It's the same shit.
Hmm. I got you.
Yeah, I mean it's and they doing it in a black city. I mean, red state, you know, so-called blue city, but I mean there are a lot of blue cities that are very healthy. I mean, like that's down south. So it's just what you want to pay attention to, what you put your focus on, the, depending on where you're at and what you're talking about. Yeah, there's some cities where they're very healthy, and there's some cities where they're not as healthy. So
Yeah,
I
but you're saying that Republican ran states that have a major city that's ran by Democrats.
yeah,
They're not making decisions that produce behaviors in people in society.
yeah. But what I'm saying
Who,
is,
who else is influencing it but them? Who else is influencing it but those people?
but a state that's as poor as Mississippi that gets or needs federal funding on a regular basis to deal
Okay.
with its issues. The state is basically, especially when you deal with something like a place like Jackson, which is the capital of Mississippi, by the way. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, that's a capital city. That's where the government is located at. So that's where the governor is where everybody's at. Same thing with
Right.
Atlanta.
Right.
Atlanta is the bluest city in Georgia.
Right.
I mean,
And you're saying that mismanaging a city that produces a culture doesn't fall on people who are running the city. That's what you're telling me?
no, no, I'm not saying that. I'm
Okay.
saying that it's not party centric is what I'm saying.
It's not party centric.
Yeah, because the governor stays in the or they stay in or about that immediate area of
Okay.
Atlanta and that
Right.
immediate area of Jackson, right?
Right.
So they are definitely dealing with the same things that everybody else is dealing with, and they are so-called Republicans. Even though, so who has more power there, the governor or the mayor that stays in those cities?
What do you mean? The governor has the power.
Right. And they can deal with funding on a very regular basis. They can get things passed very, very shortly. You remember when Marion Barry was used to have to go over to to the White House and ask for funding
Oh,
for
absolutely. That's the law.
think about how crazy that is for these other cities where they're governors and they have a whole legislator and a whole house that's there.
Hmm.
Not
Right.
just no mayor that they're dealing with a whole state, the towns and everybody else that's coming to them for funding and things of that nature.
Uh huh. Right.
Yeah.
But if those cities and the House Assembly people in those states are
Excuse me.
Democrats, and Democrats are failing to get funding and failing to get police control and
Yeah,
failing to investigate and failing to break
all
break up gangs and not doing their job.
they're
That's
all
not their fault.
responsible.
I mean, that doesn't fall on them.
No, they're all
They're in
responsible.
charge, aren't they?
Yeah, no, that's where I get off on that. They're not in
Are you
charge.
saying they're not in charge?
No, especially in
So,
those capital states. No, they're not primarily in charge. You can clearly hear the frustration, especially when you're dealing with states that are dealing with funding issues. They're clearly trying to get help from the governorship or from the legislature that runs the states all the time.
so why wouldn't the citizens just vote for Republicans then?
That's a question for them. I don't know. That's a good question. That's a good question. Yeah.
Because the governor has some power, but his Congress has a lot of power as well. They can stop things from happening all the time.
Yeah, but the attorney general for everybody that was in they had pretty much a Republican state house in Georgia, especially. Now
Right.
it's kind of turning, but because they
And
got
when Republicans and
two.
Democrats go at each other at all levels, whoever's in charge tends to set policy, right?
Right, no doubt.
And they're gonna help people who supported them.
Right.
So you have a Republican governor, and you've been voting for Democrats, and Democrats are in between you and the governor. Why
But
wouldn't you just vote for Republicans and
but
see what
why
that look like?
would you self sabotage your strongest city in the state? Why do that?
Who's doing the sabotage? I'm a citizen trying to get help and protection,
Right. But I'm
and the
saying,
people who I voted for is failing at it. Maybe I should try some other people or maybe another party to get what I need to get.
mm, yeah, that's a more nuanced type of deal. Because like you got to think about it. Why do most people in Atlanta vote the way that they do? There's a particular reason because of the type of city.
I have no idea.
It's the type of city that it
I
is.
have no idea.
But you got to remember
I don't know. I don't know
they
I don't know
are
if it's
and
all
you're talking about probably
legacy
one of
voting or not.
you're probably talking about one of the as far as the way um mentalities and the different people, that the transients that stay there, the people that live in Atlanta and the immediate area in the city and the city limits in the county, that's probably one of the most liberal cities in the United States, man.
But you're saying that the black Democrats and the white Republicans, or the black Republicans, I guess, but we'll just say the white Republicans and the black Democrats, they purposely are working together to ensure that we have ghettos and gangs and murder every day.
No, I just said it's just part of the culture. It's just part of management. There's a culture that's been developed, and that's how they go about doing their business. I don't
Okay.
know. I don't know. I don't know if you can specifically say that this is something that's even purposely done outside of just that's just
Oh,
how
it,
it's
it
supposed
has to be on purpose. Nothing just happens just to
I'm
happen.
saying where
We
they
live in a
where they
system.
where they don't deem it as being purposely being done. That's what I mean. Where they can obfuscate that kind of responsibility. Obviously, you know. Of course, it's being done on purpose. No doubt about that. Did anybody want to come up, or we ready to rock and roll out? I didn't want to jump into that conversation. I think that we could do that on a later date. I hear the birds chirping, man. The birds are chirping a little bit loud over there, man.
I,
You, you
I
sound
know,
like
man.
you sound like you are outside or something.
I'm in the ocean. I'm in the ocean.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yo,
You.
I'm
good
a, I got you. You
morning
good?
to you both.
I just added two people.
Sup.
I'm gonna try to be quick on this, man.
Be quick, man. Be quick, man, because we tired over here. But what you got? This is on PK. I'm
Yeah,
not
this
looking
is
at the
PK.
screen. All right, good. I got you down, man. What's going on?
Not a whole lot, man. Just getting off work.
Okay.
Yeah, poured myself a tall glass of whiskey and coke.
Oh man, I hope we helped you get through it, man. How long you been listening?
Not long actually. I came in on the Atlanta conversation, so I
Oh,
figured I'd
yeah,
shed
you
some
haven't
light.
even. So you didn't even listen to the whole thing. Okay, so you stay or are from the Atlanta area, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Well, I'm not from there. I lived there for about 12 years, give or take.
Yeah, you pretty much. Yeah, but yeah, you you've been there long enough. So okay, go ahead. I know you're still pretty young too. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I lived there for about half my life, and then half my life I grew up in
Yeah,
Ohio. My
I
younger
got.
years I lived in Ohio.
So you're from Atlanta. Go ahead. Go ahead. Tell us about ATL politics, man. I know you're familiar with that though, for sure. I know you got to be familiar with that. Go
Nah,
ahead.
not highly. I got a little bit of insight though because I lived there for a little while.
Yeah.
I would say this because of the college interaction with the political sphere. Uh, Something that a lot of people don't recognize is that obviously you have HBCUs in the Atlanta area,
Yeah.
and a lot of your politicians are groomed out of that system. And not only that, one of the leading demographics for those political endeavors happen to be female. And these people are not random nobodies. These people, a lot of times, were essentially groomed for those positions.
Legacy. Yeah, legacy.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
And not only that, unfortunately, most of the demographics of the people who are involved in the politics in the metro Atlanta areas, the demographics are highly female skewed, black female dominated. So even in the midst where you have male voters, they do not have the same level of voting activity. And then when they do, they generally skew towards the female dominated vote, which happens to be Democrat,
Hmm.
whether educated or uneducated, because of the high well, not likelihood, but the high demographic of women to men ratio, as well as single motherhood is one of the some of the highest rates in Atlanta. So you kind of you hit with a double whammy. They've already been voting Democrat for such a long time, as well as they've been groomed for these positions, and so it's almost like an they've been indoctrinated into that position. There's no getting them out of it. That's where they are largely as a populace. So even if you tried to convince them otherwise, you wouldn't be able to garner much sentiment for a Republican candidate, at least not in the metro Atlanta areas.
What
Couldn't do it.
do you think, let's just forget about the Republican side for a second, but do you think that there can be more of a progressive, more active type of forward thinking
What do you
party
mean
that
by progressive?
progressive, like more active as far as getting things done, for say like progressive movement towards like black boards, or more of a kind of like interactive movement with the community there, um, getting things done for the community to kind of get the crime off the streets, to kind of help with the education reform there.
No, not unless it's female centric. Not in the Atlanta, not in the Atlanta metro area. It's not possible. It has to be female centric. It's
So
highly gynocentric there.
so what will be the option um for somebody that wants to have those things done?
Move.
Okay.
You don't live in the right area for that. Unfortunately, that is an initiative for at least not at this particular time. I mean, things could have changed since I've left. I have been gone from the state for 4 years, give or take.
Hmm.
So things could have changed in those 4 years, but I doubt it. At least during the time that I was there,
But
you know,
wasn't Kareem, was it a Kasim, wasn't he the mayor when you was there during your time period? Is it Kasim Reed? I think that's his name. Mayor Kasim Reed was on the mayor of Atlanta before
give me the years.
Bottoms, if I'm not mistaken.
Give me the years.
Oof. I want to say 2008, from like 2008, 2016, if I'm not mistaken. I could be off on that,
Check.
but I think that's his name, Kasim Reed or some shit like that. He was a black male mayor of Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
What was the years? Did you see the years?
Yeah, 2010 to 18.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. So he was like I said, man, there are because I'm very familiar with Atlanta. I have relatives that stay in Atlanta, immediate and distant, you know. I think that you're right. The HBCUs there are like a very specific hub for their political base and educational base. just the Atlanta system as a whole. But I think that there is a significant stronghold of black males um, that are part of that demographic that you speak about that do vote in Atlanta, but I don't know exactly how progressive they are allowed to be, especially when it depends on trying to get some of the other systemic issues or problems in Atlanta, get them solved.
Well, that's why I said it really depends on what you define as progressive, because these days the term is thrown around kind of wildly in ways that I don't agree with.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, hell,
So what do you when
progressivism is
you
synonymous with, the LGBTQ movement, for example. You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's considered progressive these days.
Yeah,
So,
that's not what I'm talking about because clearly they're very progressive that way in Atlanta. And that that is something that goes without saying.
and
So
that's been on the
that's not what
docket
I'm
even in
talking
his
about.
you know, advocacy, in his movements, and that's a heavy stride
It will be
coming out of the HBCUs as well. So I mean,
it
you
will
got
be
that
that
to
way
contend
for
with.
anybody that wants to be mayor of Atlanta because they have such a large influential population that stays in that city.
Yeah, it wasn't always that way, but yeah, yeah.
It's been that way for a while, bro. I it wasn't as prevalent as it is now. That's for sure. But there's always been a significant groundswell of LGBTQ folks in the ATL for
But that
sure.
came a little bit. I'm gonna kind of throw this out here because I got a little bit of insight from some of the natives that live there, and
Hmm.
what they told me is that this actually mostly came from a handful of places, and these people were transplants to Atlanta due to some of the issues they were having in their home states.
That's true. That's a
Um,
fact. Yeah.
so these people essentially immigrated there and
Right.
basically claimed it as their home turf and began to, spread their tendrils throughout the population as they do.
Right. They got a stronghold of the political game there, and they got busy. They got work. They got to work with their community.
Pause.
They got to work.
Pause. Pause. Pause.
Yeah, man. We was talking earlier about relationships. Paradox, you want to kind of run down what we was kind of talking about, kind of give him a couple of the questions that you was asking me earlier.
I can remember. Talked for so long. Talked 2 hours.
Like quick, like quickly, man. What time is it?
We weren't really doing questions. I guess we're doing what scenarios, but I mean that's
Yeah. We was
I guess
talking about
we were talking about
Talking about
when we
platonic relationships? What are we talking about? Like, interpersonal? What are we talking about?
like
Male female dynamics?
yeah, male female dynamics,
we was mostly
how
focusing on 13, 14, 15, and development.
yeah, how you develop your attitude towards the opposite sex and how that has an effect on you um as a grown black man, dealing with that kind of dynamic, whether you had access to the female of your choice and whether you did not have access to that particular female, and how that affects your mentality and how you broadcast that out to the world, you know, how that can have an effect
So it's
on your
your
environment.
psychological impact.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah.
I think that without all the context, I can only touch on it briefly. I mean, I'm sure that for some men, that if they don't have the woman that they may desire in their, well, not men, the boys, right? Boys in those younger developing stages, of puberty and whatnot, and they're seeking out female attention and companionship at those particular ages, whether it be for sexual relation. Um, because let's be clear, young men and women both tend to, desires sex at these ages, whether we like it or not. Um, it's a thing. But
Mhm.
nonetheless, because hormones and whatnot. But
Mhm.
you end up I'm sure these people end up with some developmental issues psychologically to some extent. I think that would be the case, male and female. But since we're speaking on male specifically, yeah, I would say that this may impact the way that they may see a relation and the way that they may interact with women as they grow older if they don't already somehow address these issues. However, it depends on whether or not they have looked in the mirror and maybe taken stock of where it is that they qualify, where they rank essentially,
Mhm.
um in being as objective as they possibly can be with where they were then to address those issues at that time frame. I don't know. It really depends, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm not a 14, 15. I can't. These are questions you would have to ask to someone in that age category to really get a good frame of reference. Really, I don't really know how to answer that as an adult because
See,
I
it
mean
used
I
to
didn't
be.
have that problem. You know, I don't know.
No, that's what we were doing. We were going through those scenarios when we were 13 and 14, going with friends and brothers and fathers, and
Yeah.
who's getting advice, who's giving advice, what are you listening to, how you're moving it, and how did that start to develop a baseline for how you interact with the opposite sex. And so you are an expert because
Yeah.
you was 13 and 14 at that time. So we were just sort of
Paradox.
playing through our scenarios. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
Paradox was cold breaking me, man. He cold. You didn't let me get out of it. He was like, "Hey, man, it's a question when you was a youth." So yeah, it is hard because you tend to see things the way you see it now, and to go back and kind of relive how you
Well, he
viewed
well
it
he
as
said he
a
said
child.
he didn't have that problem. So can you expand on that? He said he didn't have that problem. So what does
Who
that
did?
mean? Can you get into that?
Who didn't have? You talking about me?
P,
Or you
No,
talking
he's
about?
no,
talking. He's talking about me.
PK was
Oh,
very confident. He said, "I didn't have that problem." It's not really,
oh,
So
okay.
kind of walk us through your life then, or give us a scenario or something. You say
We
you
don't
have
got
that
time for the
problem.
life thing. Just
I'll be quick. I'll keep it brief. If you want it, I guess.
go ahead, man. Go
I
ahead.
mean, I played on the football team, bro. Like I got bitches. I don't know what to tell you, bro.
Ah, he said I got bitches,
It
man.
wasn't.
Yeah,
It
enough,
wasn't.
enough said, enough said.
I don't know. You know, it was what it was. You
It
know.
was
CDC,
like, yeah.
CDC, he was the one. He was the problem. What I'm
Uh,
talking about, he was the problem.
I wasn't crushing girls' hearts. Let's be honest.
yeah, let you tell it. Okay,
The thing that was happening was is that
that's funny.
there was some girls that I was, I wanted, probably to have a long term relationship. But the truth is that I ended up moving to a different area, and as a youth, that kind of that throws a monkey wrench in life. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Because you're not around those people anymore. So when you
right.
move around, it makes having long term committed relationships a lot more difficult, especially at that stage. And it actually it creates issues for friendships and can have impacts on the long term in your life. I actually think that it probably wasn't advantageous for me in terms of forming
Bond.
friendships and those bonds.
I
and,
got you.
and but nonetheless though, like I said though, I mean in that particular arena of my life, early high school, I think that would be freshman sophomore year. Yeah, it was I mean I'm gonna be honest, I didn't have an issue with pursuing the opposite sex or anything like that. Still don't. It's not something that has ever really, it's not something that's really
But
ever been an issue.
so tell me this though, as a 13 or 14-year-old, you had to, it sounds like you was able to acclimate yourself even into a new environment. What were some of the things either you got from somebody as an older person for you to not maybe even have that confidence, but your ability to go and even talk to a female? What was your female strategy back then?
Strategy? That's a hard question, man. That's a damn. I don't know. So I guess it wasn't so much as the. I don't know. Maybe it's because I. Okay, so let me do this. I would say this. your physical reality will definitely have an impact on your confidence level as a man or as
Mhm.
even a boy. So if you know that you're not an attractive person and you're not having much success,
Uh-oh.
these things can create feedback loops. So I think that a person who may achieve more success in dating and relationships and pursuing the opposite sex will end up going through what is called a positive feedback loop,
Mm.
whereas somebody who may not be as attractive as another person, a man in this case, uh, may go through more negative and more rejective, or excuse me, more rejections because of the
Mhm.
fact that they're not getting as much access. So I think that these two that can have an impact on a person's confidence, and that may create issues where later on down the line they may try to pursue relationships with people that, you know, unfortunately, number one, they may not even rank or qualify for, or even number two, they just may, have a harder time in the field by virtue of the fact that they're not attractive. It just kind of is what it is. You're born with the genetics you're born with. Um, you can't change that, but you can definitely, you know, uh, put yourself in position either socially, because I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I was friends with everybody. I didn't have any issues making friends. I didn't really have any issues with, getting into trouble with other people. I throw hands. You know what I mean? I didn't. I
Mhm.
didn't have. I didn't have any of those developmental. I would almost classify them as developmental hangups. I didn't have any of those issues per se. I had issues in my life, um, bullying, things of that nature, but I didn't have issues with talking to women or even getting women. That was never a problem in my life at any point.
Now, were girls coming when you were early on, say 13, 14? Were girls automatically coming at you, or were you having to get your hair cut? Were you doing anything? Was it your size? Was it your skin color? Was there anything that you think there was at play, or you
I'm
were just a
not.
dog, or you were just a wolf? You were just out here hunting.
I think it was a mix because
Okay.
I had already experienced, uh female attention. Like
Oh,
anywhere, I mean,
okay.
I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't an issue where women would always, I guess, you know, pay attention to me. Now I didn't always reciprocate because I was oblivious. I'm not gonna lie, I'm oblivious.
Yeah.
Um, and it's still an issue that I have today. I'm not gonna lie, I'm oblivious. That's just me. That's my character. It's a character flaw. Um, and I'm aware of it. It
Mhm.
isn't something that I'm unaware of. It's just a problem that I have. I'm oblivious to female attraction. I don't know why. I just am.
Mhm.
Um, I have to sometimes be told, like, hey,
Mhm.
look over there. She checking you out. That shit happens to me.
I think I'm.
But
Am I coming through all right?
yeah, you
Yeah,
are.
yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I can say I think I'm oblivious a little bit. I can say from somebody that struggled like through his teenage years until he really like kind of left his community. Like I will say like I got lucky at times, but like it went through ebbs and flows. So I can say for me, like my dad is how you say he's a ladies man.
Mhm.
Um, as BGS would say, sorry, DC concubine, concubine kind of guy.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, yeah, he's that kind of guy. So growing up, actually, like you know how like you play house with the girls around your age and everything.
Mhm.
That would happen a lot, and they would try to emulate everything. My mom seen that, and she kind of got me out of that for real, because I had long hair and everything. So she kind of got me out of that and tried to get me away from the girls. So she wasn't trying to teach me nothing. My dad was down in Florida, so just growing up, it was kind of off and on until I got to junior high. Then like I was like, because I grew up like in Section 80 household, so all the girls I was around were fast as hell. So my mom had to work like double time, just stopping all the girls. Like this one girl, she was fast. She came in booty shorts, asked me to walk her home, and my mom said yes, but my sister gotta be with you all this time. So she was always like watchdog over me. So I didn't really have the chance to really learn game or anything like that because she had a stroke, so she couldn't work, and my dad was down in Florida.
Yeah, I don't know. So for me, in terms of like, if we're talking about game, you know,
No,
I
just the
didn't.
interactions with women, like
Oh,
just the
okay.
interaction, sexual and everything. Because like at that time, I was kind of oblivious, but now I look back at it, like because I was square, like I was square, like growing up. I didn't really have like a wasn't in the streets or anything like that. I just played sports and everything, so
Hmm.
I was kind of like I was just kind of oblivious to it. But like I now look back at it, like I thought a lot of the chicks weren't going to like me and didn't like me or anything. Now it's like you look at it like they just didn't know how to approach it. But that was junior high. Now going through high school, that was more my awkward phase and everything because that's when everybody was dope dealing and like most of the dudes I was in school with were selling drugs or they were like the D1 division football players, and I'm just chilling, trying to get through life. And I kind of struggled through there, but I think I realized once I went to other places, you gotta find your tribe and who you mess with and everything.
I
So
mean,
like,
when I was around that age group, like that category, like in high school, I didn't, like I said, I didn't really have these issues, man. I was friends with so many different groups of people,
oh yeah,
so it
yeah,
just didn't. I didn't have any issues, you know, talking to any particular group of women. Was I accepted by every woman? No, of
no,
course not. But I mean, in terms of the ones that I desired, like I didn't really end up running into any serious walls there. Not really. You know, even the
what kind of
ones that
school did you go to though?
I've been to two high schools. One of them was mostly black and Hispanic, like 99% black and Hispanic. And then the other one that I went to was thoroughly mixed.
Uh,
It was completely mixed. I mean, like in the sense that you had Asians, Africans, black people, white people, uh, Mexican. Like you had a good mix. However, when I went to that school, there was a bit of a more interesting dynamic of how people ended up tending to select their, their counterparts. So it was a bit more tricky and different. I had to kind of acclimatize myself to that.
no,
I had to get
I
used to.
was the funny thing. I was actually cool with everybody in school. Like even with like the girls and everything. Like my school was a majority black high school, but I was cool with all of them, but they just didn't see me that way. So I was like, all right, cool. But the white girls, I couldn't really mess with them because like it's where some of them were cool and I might have messed with, but I was like kind of on like I was only messing with black girls situation right there, like in high school, and a lot of them will get like brothers in trouble. So I'm like they were like really a no go.
I mean,
So at that
I didn't have any friend girls. Like that's I mean like the friend girls that I did have were sexual favor friend girls like but it wasn't I don't know. So I never really now that I think about it, going throughout my school, my developmental years, the only friend girls that I ever had were basically in elementary school. Never post elementary did I ever have another friend that was a girl. That never happened again. Um Growing up in the era that I grew up in, right? But I mean, I don't know. It could be different for everyone else, but
no,
that's just my experience.
I ain't gonna lie. Honestly, at that time, like what I just did, like I just started dating Latin women. That's when I started dating because I was up in New York going back and forth visiting my aunt, and that's who I was messing with. So that's why I did just to supplement myself. But like at that time, I think what happens is you're kind of understanding like who you attracted to, and it's like that's at 16 when you're trying to you understanding like your sexual market value. That's when I really understood it. But that's when I really understood that it changes on who's attracted to you and who you can get from each neighborhood or city or school district.
Yeah, I
For
was able
me,
to date up and down, so I didn't have these issues. Like I said, it wasn't like I would take what I could get sort of type of thing. It's that, sometimes I would get a hot girl. Like for instance, my freshman and sophomore year, I had the fucking one of the I got in the fights over this bitch because she was so hot.
How did you get her?
She liked me and I liked her. That was it. She was a fucking retard though. Not literally, but she just wasn't very smart.
uh,
She was very good looking though. Very good looking. She was like 5'8", curvy in all the right places, you know, and she looking back, if I could do it different, I would have kept her even if I did move because she was that good looking. She was smoking hot. She just wasn't smart, you know. But nonetheless, there were dudes who wanted to fight me over her. Shit was crazy, you know.
So they gave you problems because you had her, and then those guys wanted her, and they was like wondering what the fuck did she see in this motherfucker to get with him. So that's probably caused you some major issues, man. I can imagine. Is that
Yeah,
what you're saying? Man, that's crazy.
yeah. I mean, and it was
Uh,
unfortunate too because during those years, I hadn't because I was a year younger, right? Unfortunately, because I skipped a grade when I was at that age. I skipped a grade, so I was actually supposed to skip two, but that's a different story. We're not gonna get into that because I know you ain't got all the time in the world. But I just skipped one grade, and so I was a little bit smaller than the other kids. It just was what it was because I was a year younger. And not only that, I don't know what the fuck they was putting in the food, man, but some of these motherfuckers are huge. Okay. Like, but that's I don't know. Anyway, beautiful girl. She was developed even at that young age. And yeah, even when she got older, I'm pretty sure she's still developed. I haven't looked and checked or anything.
Were your
But yeah,
were your friend
we dated
were
for
your
like a year.
were your friend how were your friend groups though? Did you have friends of yours that couldn't get girls? Were they getting your sloppy seconds? Like how were you engaging your friends? Because it sounded like maybe you was maybe one of the main guys, and that you may have had friends who were maybe a little bit behind as far as how they were trying to engage. Maybe they were trying too hard. Did you see any of that happening in your circle, your friend groups?
No. So, I gotta be clear. One of the schools I went to, like I said, this was if I went to two different schools, okay? So one of them was black and Mexican dominated, period. That's just what it was. There was only literally like 10 white people in the whole school. Okay. This was during my freshman and sophomore year of high school. So yeah, these people were already engaged in sexual acts with one another at that age, period. That's just
mhm.
what it was. Um, they didn't have any issues that I knew about. A lot of these people may or some of them were gang affiliated. Not all, some of them were. Um, Opposite gangs and whatnot, from the Mexicans to the black people. It just was what it was. I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying that's how things were. Um, Nonetheless, though, you know, I was friends with everybody regardless because it didn't. They knew I was just regular dude who wasn't a part of that side of the game. Just I wasn't in that.
Hold on, hold
So
on, hold on. You're not being investigated. I didn't go to your schools,
I
so
know I'm just trying
you're,
to be trying to
you
keep it.
sound like
I'm
you're
just
trying to
keeping it
keep it
PG.
you trying to keep it clean. Now I'm trying to.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that you're smashing chicks and chicks are just chasing you down, and
No, I wasn't. No, no,
you
no, I
can't give us
wasn't.
no scenario
No, I didn't have
of
sex. No, I didn't have sex until I turned
but
18, bro.
right, but they were coming at you all the time. So you was dating, you had girlfriends, all that type of stuff, right?
Hmm.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So clearly your friends or people around people knew that girls wanted to talk to you.
Yeah.
I was just trying to figure out what was that experience like because you're dealing with friends of yours. Y'all have to be talking about girls all the time. Am I wrong about that or no?
Well, sometimes, well, not really. So sometimes
Really?
they would try
Okay.
to. Nah, not a whole lot.
Hmm.
Sometimes we would. I think
So you were
there
studying.
was what? Nah, not really. So I
So,
didn't
so,
have. I
so
wasn't. I
you're
didn't
not talking
have.
about girls. You're not studying. What was you doing?
I didn't have a whole lot of. I didn't have a whole lot of girls. Like this is the thing. Like I had a. Okay,
Okay.
so throughout my high school years, I had girlfriends that I was with in relationships with.
Okay.
Period. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't out here smashed. That didn't come until later. Okay, that
Ah.
Dang,
happened
PK. So
later.
I was more active than you. Shit, I was.
Yeah, not in high school. No, no, I wasn't smashing girls in high school. I did have other favors done, but didn't have sex until I had reached 18. That didn't happen until 18. Period. Um, But in high school, yeah, we did everything. We got other stuff. I got other stuff. So I mean, I was satisfied in those relationships, to say the least. They were good people. I mean, some of them, not all,
So what?
some of them.
So what? So that means so you were scared. That's what you're saying.
No, I understood the value of it because
Okay.
number one, I was raised with both my mom and my dad, and I understood what that meant, or at least I thought I did. Like, I didn't realize that the social mores were so fucked at that particular time. Looking back now, it's a lot different for me to see things as an adult than it was as a 13, 14-year old. You know what I mean? So the way that I see things now is going to be much different than the way that I did at 13, 14. It just is what it is. But in terms of like having sex and whatnot, no, I didn't have sex at that age. Didn't happen. Could I?
See,
Yeah, it was thrown at me and I saw it happen. So it wasn't something that was outside of the realm of what people did, do, and even to some extent expected, but it just wasn't in the cards because I didn't pursue that. That wasn't something that I wanted. In fact, I can tell you a story. I'm not going to, but I could tell you a story of a gangbang, literally, that took place inside of one of the high school locker rooms that I saw and was like, nah, I'ma head out. And they invited me to join. I was like, nah, nah. Nah, that ain't it.
it's a trap.
Sound like savages. I love it. So
Yeah,
you decided to wait. Did you now once you finally did do it? Did you just go crazy? What did that look like for you?
Nah, man, it was lackluster, bro. It was with a woman or a girl, woman slash girl that I met just at a random encounter at a pool inside of an apartment complex, and we talked for a little bit. We met up the next day, and I smashed her in the pool bathroom. Was what it was. Lasted all of 10 minutes, and then was out. So, and she wanted a relationship, but unfortunately, my ex girlfriend from high school, a white girl, hit me up, and I was like, I told her, I was like, I gotta give her a chance to get back with me. We already have a prior relationship, so I already kind of know this girl. I barely know you. If things fail with her, I'll come back to you. And she's like, I understand. So
Okay. CDC, that's a very different trajectory, right?
Yeah, it
Policy phone.
is. Yeah, it's different. Yeah, I'm about to fall asleep, man. Just for a minute, man. But
I know my shit's boring, bro. It's stable shit, bro. I didn't have anything.
nah, that
So
ain't
No,
that
no, no,
ain't
no,
that
no.
ain't boring. No,
We're
that's
not
good stuff.
approaching it. We're not approaching like that at
Yeah,
all. No,
no,
we
no,
just we
not at
just want the
all.
scenario. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah,
perfect. Actually, it's perfect. My buddy of mine, he peaked at 18 and he became a savage though, because he didn't get it until 18. They wanted it all. It was your exact story, but the difference is he lost his mind.
he
Lost his
turned
mind.
he turned into
No, no, no. He caught with all his friends and then passed them.
yeah.
yeah, my savagery didn't happen until I would say post 20. Post 20. I would say like 21 plus, that's when my savagery commenced. Okay.
Mhm.
That's when savage mode activated, but that was for a whole host of reasons. I had a lot of shit going on mentally, a lot of
Mm.
shit going on in my life, bro. So, I was drinking holes like water, bro. It just was what it was. We ain't we ain't we ain't talking about that though. That's different.
Woo.
That was different times, bro. I mean, single mothers was the day of the week, and it was straight to Pound Town, bro. It just was what it was.
Town, town. Well, yo, we would like to get your guys' final thoughts, man, before we close up. So, Smitty, what you got, bruh?
Damn, yeah, I just came up here late just to share some of my experiences. It's
Yeah,
basically not how you start, basically, because I think it's common for most boys, especially like if you don't have your dad to teach you that shit, you're gonna struggle. And like I basically picked it up on my own. Shit, I used to think I was an ugly dude until like I really just like you really gotta just find your tribe and the people that fuck with you,
right.
and that's all you gotta do, and you be Gucci for real. Shit, I'm about to hit something up in the morning. That's what I was gonna jump on earlier. I was talking to her. So once you do that, it's pretty much easy, honestly. Nowadays,
Don't
ain't
ask me now. Oof.
Yeah, go back on PK and listen to the beginning of the program, man. I think you may find it constructive. You know, because we
DC,
went we went.
you didn't tell me we had all these wolves, man, on our as some of the people who listen.
No man, no man.
We got some wolves out here. I like that.
According to everybody else, man, I'm an incel, bro. Even DC thought I'm an incel, bro.
I
Don't
never
sound like it
thought.
to me, buddy.
I never said that you was an incel, man. When did I ever come to you like you was an incel? That is not true.
PK is about to blow up the air mattress right now. Shit.
Absolutely not true.
I mean, to be fair, I am living the incel life right now. Not literally the incel life, but I mean, I'm not looking. I'm single.
Exactly.
I haven't blown up the air mattress in quite some time. You know what I'm saying? So,
That's
we good, bro. We good.
sounds like
I,
it's your own choice, man. That's a good thing.
I ain't gonna lie. Like there's there's really no point in being in a relationship right now because like it's very like transaction right now, and if you don't want to be committed to nobody, you don't really need to. That's the crazy thing.
See, that's what I was trying to tell Paradox that I think that it's there's something that's been developed um kind of like society wise, which is separate from people's experience, and then their expectations are kind of coloring it. And then if you put on top of it bad experiences, man, that's like a powder keg, man. And depending on who's speaking in that particular silo, um, that's going to get traction because for it's true for a lot of people, you know, that's true for a very a large amount of people actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've had varying experiences. I mean, I can speak to both scenarios because I mean, when you get that air mattress blowed up, man, you see and hear some things, bro. You know what I mean? That
I,
shit'll fuck with you.
That's a strong
I'll
air mattress, bro. I tell
I'll
you,
say
that's
this.
crazy, man.
They make them. Hey, they make them industrial now.
I
But
know
I
they
wanted to say,
I know they
uh,
like bed shit pretty much. Yeah, I know
yeah,
that.
I want to say this though. Like, I also remember, like, with my mom, I was raised with my grandparents, and they were married for like
Yeah,
55 years until they died. So I was like, for me, it was adjusting because I brought up to court. So that was my reference is how they interacted with each other and shit like that.
right.
So growing up, if you in a like like everybody in my high school was like a football high school, or they were like drug dealers and shit like that. So you in that environment and that doesn't work out, you are going to be kind of lost because that's your best reference on how to deal with women and everything, and they ain't on that shit. So
Right.
once you find that footing and you realize how much it kind of be like it's opposite of what you thought it was. I don't want to say that it's I can't find the words for it, but it's well broken culture at that point. You found broken all the shit that you seen that you thought that was like upright because like all my dad's side, they're all like squares for the most part, except like probably two of them, but they're not even in the streets all that much. But the way they were brought up was to do right by people, and once and how you interact with women is different. And that explains why my uncles married who they marry at that time, and they marry like out of the culture or outside the country. So that's always gonna be a struggle. So you just gotta understand your situation and like where you at dealing with like the culture of the people that you're dating. That's
I
why
would
I was thinking of it.
I would throw this out here too as a caveat to some of those things that I've discussed here, is that number one, I don't think that my particular experience is necessarily going to be one to one to every single person's life. So I don't use myself as a barometer for anyone else that speaks on these issues because I understand that I've
Mm-hmm.
had some pretty unique experiences insofar as number one, I've dated interracially almost every single race just about that I can think of in the United States, the ones that are most prevalent anyway. I've dated Hispanic, either from Mexican descent, from I dated a Brazilian woman, I've dated a white girl, I've dated a black girl, I've dated a black Asian, I've dated an Asian. I've been across the seven seas, as you as you'd say. You know what I'm saying? So it's not. I mean, I would say this though. However, I think that the climate in terms of relationships, we're not speaking to sex. That's a different discussion almost entirely at this point. But in terms of relationships, the quality of, I would say, post high school relationships, mine anyway, have tremendously gotten worse. I would say that some of my peak years in terms of my relationships were by far the very best, probably around high school age, slightly post high school age. Post adulthood, almost every single relationship was pretty bad. Pretty bad.
PK,
The
you in your
quality of
30s,
it got
right?
worse. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm in my late 20s. Basically, like once I got out of high school, that's when it like I graduated like in 2013 out of high school. It was bad. Like as soon as I got out,
Yeah.
like it was bad coming. It's still bad. So that's why I'm like, yo, this why is this harder? Because even like with like the upperclassmen, they were still dating at a certain point, and there was people still having relationships. But by the time I got out, I'm like, I was wondering. This is what made me like, is this just me or this is just really bad? If
Yeah.
this is how it's supposed to be. So yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah. As time has gone forward, like I think if I rewinded the clock um on my life, I would say that the 2000s was probably the end of
Mm-hmm.
quality relationships. That was probably the death knell. Well, then by the time we got to around 2014, 15, all hell had broken loose, and almost the quality of every single relationship post that, complete and utter trash. They were good on the surface, but as I was peeling back the layers to some of these people in those relationships, they were terrible. All of them. All of them. That's just my experience, though. I won't speak for anyone else. I would say that the era of dating and relationships, really in the past like 8 to 9 years, have been really bad. That's why I decided, a while ago, I'm just gonna take myself out the market. And so far as relationships are concerned, it's too bad out here. It's really terrible. It's really bad. But that's just my experience, so I can't speak to everyone else.
No, I think the system is doing its job, and I promote it. The more, the better. So I know
Hey,
DC don't agree with that, but he want to go back. He want to go back to the what?
Don't do it. Don't do it. We about to close up, man. We about to close up.
No, man, Paradox wants to go. He wants to go.
Man, Paradox, man. You're gonna be on your own, brother. I'm about to lay it down for at least these couple hours before I get my butt up.
Yeah, yeah, I
You
ain't
the
gonna mess
bird,
with
you
that.
the birds out there where he's at? Listen to
Yeah,
them
man.
birds.
yeah,
The
That's
birds out
crazy.
where you at too. You on the East Coast.
goddamn, the sun's coming up. The sky's blue outside. The sun's coming up.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
Yeah, man, it's morning. It's almost time for
Yeah,
work, DC.
it
What you
is.
need sleep?
It is morning time, man.
You
Yeah,
don't need sleep. Sleep is for
it
the weak.
is. Ooh, for the
Oh,
week. Sleep is the cousin of death.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but I would
Yeah.
say this: I believe in any system. You adapt, you improvise, and
Mm-hmm.
you overcome. I don't really care if relationships are bad or not. Who cares? Get in where get what you got to get and keep it moving.
Hey,
I'm a dirty bastard. I believe that
Uh,
this entire
I don't.
system deserves to collapse if this is the way we're going.
Yeah, I don't care either way.
If the
Right?
Yeah, me neither.
Who
Me
cares?
neither. Honestly,
All right.
if
I
this
don't
is
harp on
what we're doing,
relationship talk. I don't harp on relationship talk. I don't harp on all that. That's not even in the lexicon. Who cares about that stuff? I don't even orient myself in that position. Why are we even talking about that stuff?
I'm
right.
willing to. I'm willing
Let's
to
just
discuss
talk
it. I
about
think
getting in where we fit in and having a good time.
I'm willing to
Let's,
discuss it only by virtue of the fact that there are three keys to this
Okay.
insofar as the advocacy, as
Okay.
well as spreading men's agency, because I think that's important, as well as black men's awareness on the issues that plague, not even just black men's, but men's issues that just plague this entire society. And that if we don't deal with them, then unfortunately it would probably spell the end of this civilization. And
But when
this
you're
isn't
living,
just ours, but probably worldwide.
what happened in Sodom and Gomorrah? You better have fun
Yeah.
and live your life is short and start worrying about relationship, all this stuff that happened in the past and how things used to be, and things are bad now. It's not bad. Have a positive mindset.
I mean,
I'm a glass half empty guy, so I don't
you can
know.
get it. You can't
whatever
go
you
back. You
want is
can't go
still
back. You
out there
can't
in the
go back and
world.
fix the. You can't go
No,
back and fix the past. You can't rewrite the history. The
you
system
can't.
is doing what the system's supposed to be doing, and so it's better to look forward and to go forward.
Man,
You
you
can
better
get
talk
whatever
to
you can
some
get
white
whatever you
people,
want.
man. You better talk to them white people, man. They busy
Talk to
trying
them
to
all the
rewrite.
time. They're all my neighbors.
They trying to
Talk to them
rewrite.
every day.
They trying to rewrite history right now. What you mean? We can
Hey,
rewrite
listen.
history. We do
Listen,
it all
man.
the
When y'all
time.
talk about the new standard is that a woman got to pay her way too. I was saying amen. Those last two chats, the
Mhm.
last I think the last date in the states I've been on it was coffee. That shit was still horrible because they had no personality. But it's like no, you pay for yours and pay for mine. I haven't paid for a date. Well, in the states in a minute, so it's ridiculous. Like, nah, we're gonna do this here.
But yeah, if
But
we're
yeah,
talking about long-term
Yeah, you
relationships
got you
slash
got to lean. You got to
marriages,
lean into that, brother. Just lean into
like
it.
I mean, I'm pretty clear on what I advise men of all ages to do. I mean, I'm pretty clear on it. I don't think that here is a good place to do it. So I'm
no.
bachelor bro in that sense. But I'm really truthfully a MGTOW at heart because I don't really think you should fuck with anything that has to do with this particular system. This shit is fucked
Mhm.
currently, you know, currently. But I mean, I'm not saying that the
I'm
entirety of
I'm
the
having
shit.
fun.
I'm not a hedonist. I'm not at my core a hedonist. I do understand it, but I'm not. So, but I understand that there's some merit to the idea of it in this failing society. I don't disagree. But what I'm saying is that if we want any sort of semblance of a healthy society, then we need to
Don't
fix
care.
it.
Don't care.
That's all I'm
Don't want
saying.
it.
But I mean,
Yeah, don't care.
I do want it. I do
Not
want
my
it.
job. Not my job.
Fair
Good
It's
luck.
enough.
not
Good
your
luck with that.
job. It's not your job. It's not
Good
my
luck with
job
that.
either. I agree.
Go
I'm
with
just
God. Good luck
saying.
with that.
No, I don't. Oh, fuck no. But I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You know, if these are the outcomes that we
Don't my point is
produce,
that don't carry the weight. Black men have carried this country for 500 years.
I
Let it go.
agree.
Let it go, brother.
Fact.
Let it
I
go.
Fact.
agree. Well, I
Let
mean,
it
shit.
go,
If
man.
you live here and you ain't moving, you in danger.
Get what it owes you and let it go. Shit, that's the way I
But no, my
feel.
point is that when you say that, my point is that you have a passport, you can just go. So it's not even a thing. It's just automatic.
Shit,
You don't
man.
Yeah.
you don't have to really
Passport
emphasize that.
having
That's
a
the culture anyway.
having a passport doesn't guarantee citizenship. That's not how that works.
Well,
I get you, but that's not how that works.
you getting into the weeds. I'm trying to keep it light.
What?
I'm trying to keep it light. You get into the weeds. Too much in the weeds.
All right, y'all. Let's shut it down, man.
All
Let's
right,
shut it down. But we appreciate you, young brothers, for coming up, man, and sharing you guys perspective, man. We really do appreciate it, man. Thanks
Yep,
for
sir.
guys. Appreciate you guys, man, for coming up.
most def, man. I'll catch you later, man.
All right.
Get some good rest.
Yeah, catch the beginning of it, man. Let us know what y'all think about I don't know if you've been listening from the very beginning, Smitty, but
Yeah, I caught y'all and I listened.
yeah,
I was going to jump on earlier, but I was talking to somebody, so yeah.
yeah,
I
that's
don't know.
cool.
Does it involve air mattresses, sir?
No, it's
I'm
interesting,
fucking
man.
I'm
Yeah,
All right, man.
I gotta try that air mattress out before. See if the theory's
fucking-
true.
Yeah, that thing is fortified and strong, man.
Hey man, listen, if you get the air blowed up just right, that shit bounces back, bro. It's good times.
Hey, I'm a strong 250. I don't know if you can handle me.
Ooh. Man, be easy on them air mattresses, then, buddy.
Yeah, I don't even hear that pop. Start
Try
so
the
hard,
water bed. It's a lot
break,
more work, but you know.
start so hard, break my hip. Pow! Ah! No play.
And that's that
Yeah,
shit that you're gonna have a hard time getting out of.
that's funny.
In more ways than one.
Right. That's sticky icky. That's sticky icky. Oh man.
Alright.
All right, guys,
All
man. Thanks for coming. I appreciate y'all, man.
right, thanks. Have a
All
good morning or night. I don't know.
right. I know, right? All right, man.
All right. Well, this is the Cold Breaker. This is Paradox.
And this is DC. Until next time, peace.